What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream here. It is MLB trade deadline season. I had to start the stream as quickly as possible here because holy crap, the entire baseball world just absolutely shook from AJ Preller doing AJ Preller things. And it opened the door now for the deadline to get even more chaotic because if you are not on Twitter or if you just missed the news or whatever it may be, the San Diego Padres just acquired Mason Miller and JP Sears from the Sacramento A's, the Oakland A's, the Vegas A's, whatever you want to call them. But I can't believe it. And now you have Buster Olney and other MLB insiders saying that it looks like now Robert Suarez and Dylan Cease are going to be on the moves because of this deal, which that would also shake the baseball world because those are two guys that with Cease it looked like all right, he's probably going to be available, but not 100% sure. And then it looked like in terms of the Suarez front, I mean, no one even discussed him in trade rumors at all. And now that Mason Miller's there, it makes sense because Suarez I think has an opt out after this year or it's after next year. So it makes complete sense that the Padres would look to move him, and especially because look at what these relievers are getting. They gave up the third best prospect in baseball, but when you're trying to win now, and when you're able to now flip Cease and Robert Suarez to help you replenish the farm, why the hell not make this move? I cannot believe it. We had the Eugenio Suarez trade yesterday, which that was very underwhelming. The return, I thought. We're going to talk about some of the moves that happened. We're going to talk about moves that break as we are live here. So leave a like on your way in, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I cannot believe Mason Miller actually got traded because yesterday we were talking about, or it might have been 2 days ago, how the Mets were connected to Mason Miller. And we're like, Mason Miller's not even going to get moved. There's no way. But then yesterday, there was a save opportunity. He hadn't pitched since Saturday, and he didn't pitch in the save opportunity. Everyone found it bizarre. There was rumblings last night that the Padres were interested. Who knew if it was going to get done? And now here we are.
I'm not too shocked Mason Miller got traded actually because and we talked about this last night because when you look at teams like the A's, the Pirates, all these small market teams, right? It's like every single time they get a talented piece here or two, Brent Rooker, Mason Miller, guys like that. I mean, the Pirates flipped Brian Hayes yesterday to their division rival in the Cincinnati Reds. It's like I don't expect nothing less from this team because, or at least from those teams, because they don't want to compete. But supposedly, the higher spending teams like the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Red Sox, these are the teams that are the problem with Major League Baseball. No, it's these teams that are cheap, and every single time they see an opportunity, to flip one of the younger guys. And listen, I get that, you've seen the model with the Tampa Bay Rays and stuff of, flipping your better guys for more prospects to, build up your farm system and to hopefully become a better team in the future. But it's just like, the thing with like Mason Miller is right, like the guy's nowhere near free agency yet. He still has many years of control. So that's a very good thing for the San Diego Padres that they're getting such a, probably, if he reaches his potential, Mason Miller, he's potentially, or even right now, he's probably even top 5 closers in all of Major League Baseball. And the guy throws absolute heat. So, I mean, listen, great trade for the Padres because you just add another weapon to that deadly bullpen that they already have. I'm a little shocked that they're trading Robert Suarez just because I'm like, okay, if you're gonna add Mason Miller, I'm like, you might as well just go in with the whole Avengers freaking bullpen and just like become unstoppable in your bullpen. But I guess if AJ Preller sees the opportunity that all these relievers are being flipped for such high returns, then it's like, okay, then you might as well capitalize on Robert Suarez because and especially like you said, the fact that he has an extra year of control, it's like, okay, now you can maybe get a little more extra. And they get JP Sears. Not that JP Sears is anything great. He hasn't had a great season, but, they get a replacement starting pitcher, which now they could flip Dylan Cease. So And I do anticipate the seats gets flipped. I am wondering what the return on him is still going to be because I'm still not exactly 100% sure yet. But yeah, because I mean, and then we also heard that last night that the Astros were in on Dylan Cease. Those trade talks cooled. Then we heard last night that they were potentially talking to the Marlins about Sandy Alcantara. So yeah, I mean, it's only 11:17 right now, which and we still got about like 6.5 hours until the trade deadline. So the fact that this morning is already starting off really hot, there's still plenty of more trades to be, dished out before we get to 6 p.m.
I'm only shocked because I really thought that Mason Miller wasn't going to get moved till like next year, the year after, just because of like you mentioned with the control. I didn't think he was going to get moved once last night, though. He didn't come in for that save opportunity, and we heard the smoke that the Padres were interested. I'm like, this is going to get done then because AJ Preller is not going to let, you know, he's not going to he's not going to stop until he gets it done. Is what I'm trying to say here. He's going to go out and make that aggressive move. It's just what he does. We see it every single time with them, and we saw him. There was that rumor that he tried to get aggressive a few years ago to get Shohei Otani, didn't land him, and then okay, let me just give up the entire farm for Juan Soto and Josh Bell, and we see it just all the time with AJ Preller. Now that he has the opportunity as well to flip some of these other guys, that makes the trade market a lot more interesting. It would be cool if some AL teams tried to actually, get in the mix and contend because I'm not going to lie, it's very annoying right now watching all these teams that the Mets are going to have to compete with go out there and get better while the AL is just, it's Austin Slater and all these other garbage names. The only team that's really trying, and I tweeted it out, is the Mariners. Like, I feel like no other team right now in the AL is trying to actively get better right now. But yeah, just the amount this opened up the trade market is absolutely insane. And AJ Preller definitely saw the return that guys like Duran got, that guys like Helsley got yesterday, and is probably licking his chops at the fact that he could either replenish the farm or maybe he could make a move with another team that's contending to go and get a better starting pitcher or go and get some help for the lineup for that team. So they have a lot of flexibility now with that roster, and that scares the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie to you because I was already scared of the Padres to begin with if the Mets were to, match with them in the playoffs. Obviously, some trauma there from 2022, but now it's even more scary.
I got some trauma from 24 hours ago, just
That's too.
finishing off that series. But no, listen, you have to give massive respect to AJ Preller because I always say this with GMs, and we briefly touched upon this last night when we were talking about the Ryan Helsley and Tyler Rogers edition for the Mets. It's like what we were saying with David Stearns last night. It's like you can't fault David Stearns if he's being aggressive and he's going all in because at that point, he's doing all he can. It's up to the players. Same applies to AJ Preller. Now, listen, AJ Preller probably won't get his full flowers until he delivers a World Series to San Diego, which would be the first in their franchise's history because at the end of the day, it's about winning championships. And if you don't, then ultimately you come up short and you fail. But, the one thing that you can't fault AJ Preller on is that he tries. He goes out there. He's constantly aggressive and he's always looking, to upgrade the team and always wants to add top end talent. I mean, like you said, 2022, he wanted to get Shohei Otani. He offered just a ridiculous trade package, which, like we were talking about before, it's the same trade package for what they gave up for Juan Soto and Josh Bell, but instead they included Jackson Merrill, which again the LA Angels made the wrong mistake, which shocker. I mean, no one's really shocked because it's the Angels at the end of the day, but then they, like I said, they ended up pivoting. They ended up getting Soto. They ended up getting Josh Bell. And then even with Soto, they saw that they probably didn't have a good chance of re-signing him. So what did they do? Reflipped them, got arms, got a guy in Michael King who maybe they do end up re-signing, and he's their long-term ace of their staff. And then you even look at 2021. I mean, they were in deep conversations, and I believe they were like the initial first reported team to be seriously interested on both Max Scherzer and Trey Turner before ultimately they end up going to the Dodgers at that trade deadline. So, listen, the Padres are always one of the top teams. They're always interested in top talents, and that's why I said you can't fault AJ Preller for at least you can't fault for the lack of trying. Ultimately, it's down to execution of whether they can go and end up winning a World Series. But Yeah, listen, yeah, I AJ Preller has my full respect.
Yes, Matthew, by the way, we are going to interact with the chat throughout this live stream. Sorry, we were just opening talking about the trade because it's just chaotic here. And MJ is saying that he likes the trade for San Diego, likes it better for the A's. You get the number 3 prospect in baseball and 3 other pitching prospects, which we're waiting to see the names of those guys. I'm shocked Salas isn't in the deal. I'm shocked, but I'm also not too surprised just because of the fact that I think the A's you know, catching prospects are weird in baseball. Like that's really the thing. I mean, we saw it with our own eyes where it's like, Francisco Alvarez, top prospect in baseball, and granted, a lot of that's, the hitting coach really messing things up, but it's really hard to gauge, what catching prospects will be because sometimes these guys don't stick at catcher either. And then it's like, okay, well, you have a DH. The A's are an example of that. Like Tyler Soderstrom was a top prospect for quite a bit and as a catcher, and then he ended up moving to the outfield and is kind of a DH type as well. So, I'm not too surprised because they're still getting a really good prospect at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, catching prospects are weird. I mean, like you just talked about with Alvarez, all the hype, and I still think a huge part of it is the hitting coach, and I still think Alvarez has the potential to be a really good power bat in the Mets lineup. But even with like other catchers, right? I mean, really, when you look at it, like, and in terms of offensively, because it's very rare these days now to find a very good offensive catcher along with providing you very good defense. I mean, probably for me right now, Will Smith is the best all-around catcher in the MLB. I don't think it's really that close. I mean, we saw Adley Rushman come up the ranks, a couple years ago, and he first started out hot, and then you look at these last 2 years that he's had for the Orioles, and he's been severely underwhelming. So, I mean, JT Realmuto is a guy that pretty much came up, and he was very good, but it's very hard, like I said, to find good catchers now these days that provide you both good solid offense and good solid defense behind the plate. So listen, I mean, the Padres did keep him. I mean, let's see if they do develop him the right way. But yeah, I mean, it's still a good return for the A's, like what you were talking about.
And need I remind everyone too that people thought Jorge Alfaro would be like a really good replacement for Real Muto in Miami as a young catcher, and he ended up fizzling out very quickly. The Padres giving up the 3rd prospect ranked in the system. Do you think they could even get to the World Series? The thing is about this trade, it doesn't have to be just for this year trying to contend. Like that's why they made this move. It's for years to come because Mason Miller and JP Sears respectively each have years of control on their contract. And, you know, I think Preller acknowledges that maybe this isn't the year for this team as well. And that's why they're looking to flip guys like Cease and looking to flip guys like Suarez to where you could replenish the farm a little bit and then maybe in the offseason do some tinkering to the roster and retool from there and see if you could get back into the dance next year. Or maybe they view it as, okay, we have a pretty open lane here to try and contend where if we don't get a return for Cease or Suarez that we don't like, we don't have to take it and we'll ride with those two to end the year. And our chances are still good in the NL because the Dodgers look a lot more vulnerable than we initially thought. The Phillies, while they added a closer, they still have a lot of holes on their roster. The Mets, they still have to add to the lineup, of course, and they low key just own the Mets as well, which is very frustrating to admit. And then you look at teams like the Brewers. I would say that you know, I would say on paper at least the Padres are a better team than the Brewers. Obviously, on paper only means so much. And then the Cubs are there. They probably look at it as okay. There's no clear cut team to come out of the NL right now. While it's going to be a bloodbath, there's no clear cut team where we could still make a decent run here. And even if we don't go on some sort of a run, we still have a similar group to what we had this year going into next year, minus Cease and minus potentially Suarez. But we could overhaul the roster a little bit and replace those guys. So to me, this is just like a no brainer here, especially considering as we're getting more of the return. They gave up um, Eduardo Nunez, budget Deadnell Nunez. I don't know, but he's a 26-year-old pitcher. Pitched in some games for the Padres this year. He's a 26-year-old prospect, an unk prospect, if you will. I don't think anything much of that, but I mean, so far the only name of note is Yeah, we already have. Okay, so we do have the full return now. So,
Yeah.
uh, Braden Net and then Henry Baez are also part of the deal. Henry Baez is the 13th ranked prospect for the Padres, according to Pipeline. Having a really good year in Double A, so maybe that's someone of note that could be good in the return. And Braden Net, I mean, Braden Net's their third ranked prospect, so they actually gave up a decent amount compared to what I initially thought it might be for a second. Just given Nunez was the second name I thought, I'm like, did they just only give up? Obviously, it's still not easy to get the third best prospect in baseball, but then you're giving up nothing else. I will say, just before I let you jump in, and you could expand your thoughts on both the trade and then give your thoughts on this. The only thing that scares me about this move is this means the Dodgers have to counter with something, and
The
they're gonna have something sneaky up their sleeves.
the Dodgers always have something up their sleeve. It's like I brought up yesterday. If Emmanuel Clase did not have that gambling charge over his head, you know that they would be probably the front runners to land like a package of Stephen Kwan and Emmanuel Clase. And I mean, you add Clase to that bullpen, but thankfully that's not going to happen because he has those betting charges over his head, but or at least accusations is he didn't get charged with anything yet, but yeah, I mean, you can never count out the Dodgers and Andrew Friedman. They always have something up their sleeve, similarly to like AJ Preller. But I mean, no, listen, going back to the trade, right? Listen, it's a lot. Giving up the third ranked prospect in baseball and DeVries, Braden Net, their third prospect in their system, and then the 13th and 17th prospect. But when we talk about it, like when you have a chance to win, you don't really think twice about not giving up these prospects. And especially when you look at Mason Miller's contract, right? Because I just looked at it. After this year, the guy still has 4 more years of control. And not only it's 4 years of control, but they have control, obviously, through the rest of this year, age 26 season. They have him through his age 27, 28, 29, and 30. And then 2030 hits free agency at 31 years old. So they're getting him for the majority, like, of early prime years and then just into the beginning of his prime years. So listen, did they give up a lot? Yes, but when you're getting this type of closer with that, and he throws this amount of gas with that much control, and you're in a position to win like the Padres are, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. And again, there's no guarantee that those prospects necessarily hit with the A's either. Like prospects they're lottery tickets. You don't know what's going to happen. At least with Mason Miller, you know that you're getting a proven top end reliable shutdown closer. And along, it's like he necessarily doesn't even have to be the closer in this bullpen because the Padres have, like I said, an Avengers bullpen that they're building up. I mean, probably is he going to end up being the closer? Yeah, but you don't necessarily have. He doesn't necessarily have to be the closer just like name. It could be closed like committee, like we've talked about plenty of times before. When you look at other baseball bullpens. So yeah, it's a good trade for the Padres and a good trade for the A's as long as those prospects do end up hitting for them.
I have to address this comment because I hate that this could actually happen, and I wouldn't be
Sure.
shocked. I don't think it's going to. I don't think the Dodgers, quite frankly, have the assets to get Paul Skeens, but I mean, who the hell knows anymore? Like, I don't know with the MLB trade deadline. All I could say is that we also, in case you're not familiar, do NHL content. The MLB deadline, like, within just so quickly lapped the NHL deadline. Like, it's just not even close how much better this deadline is. Um, and honestly, I'm with you, Brian, on this one. I'm honestly more scared of the Padres right now than the Dodgers. I have to completely agree there. I honestly think the Mets kind of would fare well against the Dodgers right now, and maybe I'm underestimating the Dodgers and how they could gear it up come October. But for me, it's like, and maybe it's also recency bias from the Mets getting swept by the Padres. But I'm with you on this. I'm really scared of the Padres. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, if they were somehow able to swing like an upgrade for at the, I mean, listen, if they're able, because obviously they have Gavin Sheets right now, and Gavin Sheets is not a bad option, but when you look at top quality, top of the line DHs, he's obviously not one. I know he took Clay Holmes deep yesterday, but we heard, because the Braves are obviously selling, right? And I'm pretty sure one of the teams linked to Marcelo Zuna was the Padres. If you insert Marcelo Zuna into this, lineup along with guys like Tatis, Machado, Merrill, I know Bogarts hasn't exactly been, great since signing with the Padres, but still, he's got a decent bat. Obviously, you have Luis Arias there. I mean, like I said, if you insert the power bat of what's his name, Marcel Zune to that lineup, that lineup instantly becomes even more scarier. So, I mean, well, actually, I was gonna say maybe Marcel Zune is an option for the Braves, but I mean, he could be if you want to play him in the outfield, but I don't think they want to do that. And considering that Otani's the DH, so. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if the Padres go out there and they end up swinging a deal for Marcel Zune to be their DH.
Yeah, I mean that's an option. We're seeing them connected to Duran as well. That's been popular. Quan, they're also connected to. I don't know if Quan's going to go there, but they're going to be aggressive. They are going to be very aggressive, and I'm with you on this. That the Dodgers are definitely more beatable this year than last year, but I hate how much of a bloodbath it is because, man, if the Mets were in the freaking AL right now, I would say the Mets are probably the favorites with the Mariners and maybe the Tigers to go to the World Series. But fortunately, that's not the case. I don't know why these AL teams are just being
Yeah,
so stubborn, like the Yankees in particular, where it's like you just went to the World Series. Wouldn't you want to get more aggressive and try to get back there? I know you lost Juan Soto, obviously, but it's still very bizarre that they're prospect hugging right now, which we'll see. I mean, things could change. There's still plenty of time in that regard.
uh, I don't know. I do kind of get it with the Yankees, though. I mean, the hesitancy, just because I mean, when you watch them, like they're not that great of a baseball team, especially defensively. I mean, Anthony Volpe, he's known for his good glove. He's having a nightmare season in the at shortstop right now, along with him not necessarily putting up great offensive numbers either. I mean, you know, and then even when you look at the rest of their, outfield, I mean, Cody Bellinger, solid in center field. Jason Dominguez is an absolute mess in left field. I mean, when Aaron Judge comes back, when he comes back off the IL, which if he does, I'm pretty sure he's going to. They're probably gonna have to put Giancarlo Stanton in right field. That's not pretty because you're gonna have to fit in Judge to play in a DH because obviously he can't play the outfield right now due to whatever injury he has with his arm going on right now. So, it's not necessarily looking good with the Yankees. I mean, listen, do they kind of have to go on all in because, especially like the same thing we talk about with the Mets. I'm like, because we were saying like, Lindor, you only have so many more prime years, Nimmo, you only have so many prime years. You only have so many more prime years of Aaron Judge left before he starts to ultimately decline. So
Yep.
I don't know. The Yankees they're just such in a weird position too, and especially with all their pitching injuries, like I think they would have been a lot more aggressive, if Cole didn't end up having to get Tommy John surgery, if a guy like Clark Schmidt didn't have to end up getting Tommy John surgery. I mean, Luis Heel still isn't even back yet off the IL, or at least he's doing rehab starts right now, but still he's not
Yeah.
back on the major league roster yet. So I don't know. The Yankees are in a weird position right now.
Hornet, I'm gonna address this in a minute. Before I address it, I just want to continue on that conversation. To me, it's simple, but also not obviously to pick the direction with the Yankees. But to me, they got to pick a direction. It's either trade some of these guys that have a year left, like soft sell guys like Bellinger, guys like Grisham, guys like Goldschmidt, and whoever else might be a free agent at the end of the year, or move these prospects that are log jammed right now and try to actually get aggressive to make a move. The AL is so wide open. And even though, like you're saying, the Yankees are not playing good baseball, like just pick a direction here. At some point, you're going to have to move one of Dominguez or Spencer Jones. Like, unless Judge is going back to center field, which do you want him back there? Probably not. So they got to pick some sort of direction here of do we go all in or do we just let these young guys start to come up and play and soft sell a bit or maybe they're just going to do what they've been doing and conservative buy and just fill around the edges with guys like Slater, Rosario, and McMahon, which they've done.
Well, we do have an update on the Padres, and it's from Bob Nightingale. So take it with a pinch of salt because you never know with Bob. But he's stating the Padres have no plans to trade closer Robert Suarez, giving them the best bullpen in baseball. They also may keep starter Dylan Cease after all, with JP Sears giving them plenty of depth. Once again, the Padres are all in.
I mean, to me, I I still stand by the fact where I think Suarez and Cease are available, but only at the Padres price. Like they're not gonna budge for anything lower, and they'll probably keep them if they don't get something that blows them out of the water. But if something blows them out of the water, those one of, if not both, are on the move. That's just my opinion there on that. But I could be wrong. We'll see. Um, as for this comment, though, to address this, can Robert have the same potential impact as Cespedes in 2015? No, because it is impossible to replicate the impact Cespedes had in 2015. And I will absolutely sign up for it if it does happen. But I can't sell myself on that because Robert, at the end of the day, there's a reason that his value isn't high. There's a reason we talk about how he is a project type player. If he's anything like he was that one season a few years ago, then sure, he could have that impact. But I don't envision him being that player ever again. And I think you're more looking at him being somewhere in the middle of that and what he has been. I think realistically, a good season. I think what you could get realistically from Robert going forward is what you saw from him in 2022, where he had 12 home runs, maybe get up to 20, where he hit 284, had a 746 OPS, maybe hover around that 740 to 760 OPS range, and just give you good defense, give you good base running. I think that's what you could get realistically from Robert at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, listen, with Robert, if you're comparing them to Cespedes, overall impact, no, I don't think he can match Jonas Cespedes. If you break it down though, defensively, I certainly do think he could be more valuable than Cespedes because there was times, and especially we saw in the World Series, where Cespedes completely botched that ball, that Alcides Escobar hit to the wall in Game One, which ended up resulting in him hitting a leadoff inside the park home run. And Robert obviously is the better defensive center fielder, and I'm sure our good friend Cody would also agree with that. So, I mean, listen, and obviously, like I said, if Robert's in center field at that time, he probably does end up making that catch. But at the same time, Robert, even if you were to unlock Robert at his full peak offensively, I still don't think it's anywhere near the impact that Yoenis Cespedes gives you because Yoenis Cespedes at his peak is a guy that could hit 35, 40, 45 homers in the season. I don't see Luis Robert doing that. Like you said, do I think he could get around 20, maybe at most hit 25 home runs? Yes, but I don't think you're going to get anything more than that. I think if you could just get a middling of the bat, if you could get like a middle, power bat type out of Luis Robert, like I said, a guy that hits around 270, 280, a 750, 760 OPS with around 20 home runs, you take that along with the improved defenses in center field as well.
By the way, John Heyman kind of backed up Bob Nightingale on that whole Cease and Suarez thing. So maybe it's just cold water being thrown on it. I don't know. I guess like I said, we'll have to see um what ends up going down there. I don't know. I still think if they get a an offer that they can't refuse, they'll do it. But we'll see. We will see about that one. It would definitely shake up things at the deadline, make things very interesting. So we'll see about that. But good start so far for sure with the deadline. Really good start. It sucks that yesterday was more of the moves. I think today we'll still get like a surprise move here. It always happens, even though it's going to be hard to kind of beat the Mason Miller move as a
Yeah.
surprise move today. So
Yeah, I kind of wish that they waited for the Mason Miller trade so they could do it like a bit later, like around like 4 or 5 o'clock, or maybe even being one of those trades that goes down to the wire like after the 6 o'clock deadline happens. But it is what it is. But hopefully there, like you said, there's still some unexpected moves, and like you mentioned with the AL teams, like because apart from the Seattle Mariners, which they're having themselves a really good deadline with bringing in Josh Taylor and Eugenio Suarez to pair up, with already an offense that has guys like Kyle Raleigh. Julio Rodriguez, who's had a really good start to the second half. JP Crawford, guys like that. So
Randy.
they're doing all they can to support their offense, and obviously they added Randy last year at the deadline as well. So they're supporting their pitching staff, and we always talk about how the Padres, elite pitching staff, but the offense is never quite there. Well, certainly after adding Suarez and Naylor, that offense just took a huge step forward. So yeah, they're definitely right now as it stands currently. I mean, unless other teams in the AL make moves, which I think they should, they should do. I think it would especially help considering we kind of don't need any more National League teams improving unless it's the Mets, of course. But yeah, I mean, right now you have to say that the Mariners are currently one of the favorites to represent the American League in the World Series. I mean, really, I mean, the Tigers haven't really done anything unless you call Paul Sewell the good addition to their bullpen, which sure, I guess. I
I'll
mean,
never say that's a good addition.
we've had plenty of Paul Sewell trauma when watching him trot out of the Citi Field bullpen back in the 2017-2018 days.
And they added Chris Paddock, the Tigers, so
Yeah,
that's really about it. And
yeah,
Montero, a couple of Met legends in here.
yeah,
And
Montano as
almost
well.
almost Mets.
Oh
Mets
yeah,
and almost Mets.
almost Mets. So I mean, I mean, we heard that they were interested in Suarez, the Tigers, and obviously, they just didn't want to part with the prospects that I guess they were asking for. Even though they didn't get a ton back from the Diamondbacks, I mean, it was relatively a low return for Suarez. But I mean, the Blue Jays added what's his name, Shane Bieber from the Guardians. Hasn't pitched yet, but I mean, if they could slot him into their rotation, that automatically becomes one of the better rotations in baseball. Obviously, Houston, we've heard him being linked to Sandy. See if we make that trade, or see if they
Cease as
make that
well.
trade. Cease as well, yeah. I mean, and then we heard that Paredes, he tore his hamstring, so he's out 6 to 7 months. And then we also heard the rumors that they might be connected to one of the Mets infielders. Ronnie Mauricio, Brett Beatty, Jeff McNeil, guys like that. So do the Astros make a move for one of those guys? Which I mean, Brett Beatty for Hunter Brown. Thank you very much. I would gladly accept that offer. But no, I do hope that we start to see some more action from the American League teams.
Yeah, I mean, the Mariners, with how light of a return, and I'm sorry, it was a light return. Like, I can't sit here and convince myself that the Diamondbacks they did a good job in that deal. That deal was horrible in my opinion for them. But I mean, with how little they gave up between Naylor and Suarez, why stop? Go get a reliever. Go get another bat potentially, which they could very well do both those things. Get someone to hit towards the bottom of that order. Go get someone else to, help out a guy like Munoz in the back end of that bullpen. Why stop? And they did get Caleb Ferguson, so they already added to their pen. Go add another reliever though. That team, you're probably the favorite to go to the World Series from the AL. Don't stop. And we'll see if they end up adding a bit more to that team. But I'm very impressed with what they've done. I think the Astros will make a surprise move because they just naturally always do. But like Brian's saying, I mean, the AL is just not even trying at all, it feels like, because you have the Rays who could be in contention. They're likely going to sell today. You have the Angels playing pretend, thinking that they could buy, which God bless them. God bless Artie Moreno and his fables that he's selling to the fan base when they're 3 games below 500, 4 games out of a wild card spot. God bless his soul. The Texas Rangers, I don't know how aggressive they're going to get because they're a fringe team. The Red Sox, they might buy and sell, so I don't know. The Yankees, it looks like, aren't going to get aggressive. The Blue Jays, the Blue Jays are another team that should get aggressive. I like that Bieber at a lot. I talked about how I wanted the Mets to get him really badly, but just like for the Mariners' sake, you got to look at the fact that none of these teams, it appears, are even trying right now. And it's like we already added Suarez and Naylor, and we gave up virtually nothing to get those two. Why would we stop here? Why not go out and get more?
Yeah, I mean, with the Astros, like you mentioned, that they could make a surprise move, which they always seem to do. I mean, I recall back to 2019 when they pulled out Zach Greinke out of the bag, last minute trading for him to add him, to a rotation of Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole. the one move I could see them making, and we heard him connected to him, and it looks like the Twins are selling because they already traded off Yohan Duran yesterday to the Phillies, but a guy that could make his return to Houston, and he was a hero for them in the World Series. And Paredes is out for 6 to 7 months with that torn hamstring, and I know Jeremy Pena is right now the starting shortstop, but we saw he was willing to move to third base or initially he agreed to sign a long-term deal with the Mets. I would not be shocked if Carlos Correa ended up going back to Houston, and I think that would be a very good move for them as well.
You know what is like kind of a galaxy brain tinfoil hat kind of trade idea in that regard? What if I don't know how the Astros would get it done? What if there was a way though they were able to swing Correa and Joe Ryan in the same deal? I mean, you probably would have to move. Like, do you move Hunter Brown? Like some big trade there where you move Hunter Brown, you get Joe Ryan and Carlos Correa back in return. Something along those lines. I don't know. I don't know if the Astros would do that. I don't know if that makes sense for them to do, but it's worth the galaxy brain thought. It definitely is worth at least some sort of thought there because I don't know if the Astros would be able to pull off a package deal those two together either way. Maybe they just go out and get Jax though in the deal too. Like maybe they go for
Yeah,
Jax and Correa, but the Astros got to add more than just Correa. That's for damn sure.
yeah. I mean, I know their outfield is still necessarily. I mean, I'm gonna pull up their lineup right now on Fangraphs.
Which
'Cause I
team? The
know,
Astros?
yeah, because I know their outfield going into the season was a complete mess. I mean, they're
And
playing.
their infield now too is a freaking disaster. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how they're in contention with this lineup at all because right now they have look at who their leadoff hitter is according to the Fangraphs.
yeah,
I'll wait for
yeah.
you to.
Taylor Trammell, yeah.
Victor Carantini's hitting third for this team. Christian Walker, who has not had a good year, is hitting cleanup for this team.
I don't know.
Look at how
Maybe
much of a mess this lineup is.
I don't know. Maybe they got the trash cans back and they're banging them. I don't know. That's the only explanation I could give. But I mean, yeah, they definitely do need work. I mean, obviously Payne is going to come back, like I mentioned. He's going to slot in at shortstop instead of Dubon. If you could trade for Correa, let's say he slots in third base. I mean, but they just got Ramon Urias too, though, from the Orioles yesterday. So I mean, you probably could move him to second base and move Altuve back to left
That's
field.
probably
But I
what they
mean,
would do.
do you want Altuve in left field though?
Probably not, but I mean, if you can make your lineup better at this point, I guess you gotta just go for it. Or one of those guys could DH right now because Jordan's not here. So
Yeah, that's true. They could do. I don't even know what. I mean, what's Jordan's even status right now with his injury? Is he even anywhere close to coming back?
that's a good question because to be honest, I'm not even sure. I'm trying to find it. He had a fractured hand,
Okay.
so
Well,
I'd
it's not a.
imagine he's gonna be back probably within a couple weeks or a month or so. I mean, it's not a broken finger, so
It's
his
not a
career's
yeah.
not over.
Yeah.
Like Jake Gensel's career's over, but he'll probably be back in like a month or so, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
The new
Mm.
playoff format has teams hoping hard. Teams that shouldn't be selling art do it. The Angels. I mean, it actually makes my blood boil, even though I really don't give a rat's ass about the Angels. It makes my blood boil the way they operate that team. I mean, just why are you why are you playing pretend? Why do you think that you actually have a legit chance of making the playoffs? It's just so fucking stupid with this team. Like, do you not learn your lesson from the fact that you didn't move Shohei Otani? Like, was that not enough to realize, oh yeah, we're probably not good enough to make it? If you jerk offs couldn't make it when you were in a playoff spot at the deadline with Shohei Otani on your roster, what makes you think this roster is good enough to climb their way out of being below 500 and crawl their way from being 4 games back of a playoff spot? Please tell me what you think, Artie Moreno. Tell me. I don't understand. It just genuinely pisses me off. You're gonna lose Taylor Ward for nothing. You're gonna lose Moncada for nothing. I think Darno's a free agent. Gonna lose him for nothing. You're gonna lose these players for nothing because this owner is stupid and thinks his team is good enough to make the playoffs.
Damn,
I,
I just saw this because obviously we heard that the Padres last night were in for Stephen Kwan as well, and it just came out. The Guardians asked for Stephen Kwan, included Leo DeVries, so they wanted. I mean, they wanted a lot from him too, Stephen Kwan. So, I mean, if he does end up getting moved, you do wonder what the entire package for him is, and Dodgers still out there, so they could obviously make the move for him. Astros as well. They could be a team that makes move for Stephen Kwan, like Brian mentioned. You add Kwan to left field, move Altuve back to second base. So we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know if any team's honestly gonna trade for Quan if that was the asking price. I mean, I don't know. How are they asking for that? That's insane, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm with
agree.
you, Brian. I don't think Quan's getting traded if that's the asking price. There's no way. But yeah, back to this point. They had Prime Otani and Trout and couldn't make the playoffs once. But no, this team apparently that has Luis Renjifo playing every day. That this team's gonna make the playoffs though. Kenley Jansen as the closer. I mean, that team's making the playoffs for sure. It's just like, what the fuck are they doing? And then they're going to lose Jorge Soler too for nothing. That's another name I forgot to even mention. You would rather lose all these guys for nothing than because what? Because you'll get a couple playoff games that won't even be in your own ballpark. So it's not like you're getting the playoff revenue like you're getting that impacted by the playoff revenue.
I mean, listen, it could be worse. You could be aggressive. You could be aggressive at the trade deadline and then ending up DFAing everyone after giving up a ton of assets just to I don't know. The Angels are just
Oh wait, that's the same exact team that did that. That's right. Yeah, the same team that bought a few years ago and then DFA'd everyone. Huh. But no, we don't learn our lesson. Just such a stupid franchise. I always said it too when the Wilpons owned the Mets that if it wasn't for the Angels, the Mets would have been lapping the competition by a long shot for for being the worst owned team in the sport. But the Angels, I mean, they were the sole reason the Mets weren't lapping everyone because that team, it's just so dumb.
and that's why they've made the playoffs with Mike Trout on the roster a grand total of one time.
And it was not even in his prime.
No, I think they went to the NLDS and they lost in 2014, I think, and they haven't been anywhere near close to playoff contention ever since that. So, hey, listen, it's not my problem. Keep doing what you're doing, Angels. Hopefully though, for that fan base's sake, because they do deserve better. They are one of the franchises that do deserve a lot better. Hopefully, for their sake, Moreno ends up selling one day. Which, I mean, listen, we were blessed and we got it with Steve Cohen coming in to save us. So hopefully that fan base also gets blessed up and gets saved by an owner who actually cares and wants to. Not not that Artie Moreno doesn't care. It's just he doesn't know what he's doing, and that's almost kind of worse because it's like you want the team to be good, but it's like if you have no idea what the hell you're doing, and it's just like you're making random ass trades and making random ass decisions, like that could that could ultimately just set you back as a franchise even more. And I mean, again, I feel bad for that fan base out there in Anaheim because they deserve a lot better.
I and you just watch the Dodgers win the World Series too. Like, oh my god, the hell of being an Angels fan.
Well, I mean, at least they get to watch Kreider and Truba in the they're in hockey season, so they have that going for them.
At least they got Disneyland. It's about all they got going for them. Um. Anyway, there was a report that I just sent actually in our text group chat that the Padres are going to probably be interested in Robert or Laureano if they can't land Quan. That's a bit of a problem for the Mets, to be honest with you, because if the Padres are interested, they're going to put probably a better offer together than the Mets for Robert. So I'm not going to lie, it's a bit concerning.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously Mullins is still available, and I mean, we haven't really heard Mullins' name connected too much to San Diego. It's just been really Robert and Kwan. And I mean, again, if Kwan was that much of an asking price, I don't think he's going to get moved. I mean, it's just you know, I mean, obviously it does depend on what the White Sox want and what they value more. I mean, if they value Mark Vientos and Luis and Acuna more than whatever the Padres have to offer, then sure, the Mets probably do end up getting him, but I just don't know, and probably the White Sox would value much more from what the Padres would have to offer. But I mean, we'll see what happens.
Whatever happens, happens. Am I right?
Yeah. I don't sympathize with Trout. Duke paid to stay with a Crawford. I mean, listen, Trout did what's best for him. He got paid and he did what's best for his family. So I don't begrudge him. He did what's best for him and his family. So listen, when you deserve the bag and you think you go and you think you can go out there and get it, by all means do it. But it is what it is. He made the choice. He has to live with it. Maybe towards the end of his career, if he gets lucky, he ends up getting flipped to a contender with like a couple years left on his deal, but still with the injury concern and with the amount of money he's owed. I mean, I think the Angels would have to eat a lot of money if Trout's ever going to be traded anywhere else. So, but we'll see what ends up happening. Obviously, he is a Philly guy, so and I hope that the Phillies never do get and never have the opportunity to land a guy like Mike Trout. Hopefully, if he goes somewhere, it's somewhere else in the American League. But I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens one day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I get it that he's probably dumb for even signing an extension there in the first place. He could have just hit the market and got out of there. But like Matt said, I mean, when the bag's right in front of you, it's hard to not just accept that on the spot. And
Ooh, John Heyman.
truthfully, there was no way he envisioned it being this bad. Like, as bad as the Angels are, when they had Prime Otani too, like, he probably thought we're gonna at least be competitive at some point, right? And I just
Yeah,
saw the John Heyman thing you're probably
Mackenzie
reacted to there.
Gore.
Yeah, the Cubs are trying for Mackenzie Gore. I mean, sure, they could try. I don't think the Nats are moving him unless the Cubs are giving up like the moon and the stars for him, which I don't even know what they'd have to give up. I mean, Owen Casey's probably a name that the Nationals would have to get in return for them to even consider that deal. So, I mean, I guess it's possible. They do have, just by the looks of it, according to Pipeline, at least 3 top 100 prospects. I mean, if they part with 2 of them and then maybe some more players, maybe it's possible, but I don't know. That would be the shock move. Like, forget about Mason Miller. I think that would lap the Mason Miller move in terms of just how shocking it would be if Mackenzie Gore got moved.
I mean, I would be shocked too, but it would be a good move for them because they do need. That's a team that needs starting pitching help. I know Boyd's having a good year. Imanaga's been hurt, but when he's pitching well, he's a very good starting pitching option as well. I mean, they lost Justin Steele before this season, so and again, that's one of the better starting pitchers as well in baseball. I mean, if they could somehow land Mackenzie Gore And then of course they added Soroka as well, who could start, but you probably like him more as a back of the a bullpen option. So I mean, listen, if they could have landed Mackenzie Gore, that only adds to their firepower, along with their very good offense that they already have. So we'll see what I mean. Like I said, I don't know exactly what they're gonna have to trade to get Mackenzie Gore, and I still don't think the Nationals end up flipping Mackenzie Gore unless they get blown away with a trade offer. But again, we'll see what happens today.
Yeah, the Cubs need like one more starter really for the playoffs, just to have a guy. Because right now, I mean, Boyd and Imanaga are definitely going the first two games, and then it's kind of up in the air for who would start that third game. All lefties if they got Mackenzie Gore starting for them in the playoffs, though. And then if they need to have a fourth starter, they'll have a righty. But very interesting in that regard, which means that
Luis,
the Mets
Luis
need guys
Robert
that can mash lefties.
Luis,
That's all I can say.
Luis Robert will be feasting. And he's a White Sox guy. He's familiar with Wrigley Field. He's familiar with that with that opposing starting rotation. Considering I think they just played him like was it, a couple weeks ago. I think
Yep.
it's a guarantee or not even guaranteed rate field, just rate field now. Which cool
Sure.
name change, cool name change. White Sox, but yeah. Let's see.
Of course, the Cubs are interested. And it's like another NL team that might get aggressive, but AL teams will pass on the option of being aggressive. Very frustrating. But I don't know. Like, there's no way Gore actually gets moved. There's just freaking no way they actually move him.
No, I don't see it either.
I think it's kind of like the Mason Miller thing of last year, where it's like, maybe he'll get moved. Maybe he'll get moved, but he's probably not. I think next year is more likely if Gore's going to get moved, or the off season.
And it's just like again for the A's. I mean, they trade Mason Miller, and I know they just extended Brent Rooker, but I wouldn't pass it. I wouldn't put it past that. Not that you get traded at this deadline, but in the offseason next year and maybe a next year's trade deadline, I wouldn't put him past them to trade him away. And he has a good contract as well. I believe when he signed his extension, it's a 5-year, $90 million deal.
Very friendly deal, yeah.
That's a very good deal for Brent Rooker. I mean, I mean, in that case, when you have that many years left on him, because I mean, if they trade him going to next year, because I don't know if the extension kicks in next year or this was the first year of it, but I mean, if you have 5 years, 4 years, 4.5 years at that friendly of a contract, at that friendly, of a cap hit per se, you could get a lot from Brent Rooker. But then again, I mean, the A's, having good players available for them and then just wanting to flip them, it's like, again, it's like.
So it looks like the contract kicks in next year because it was a 5-year deal and it's backloaded the deal. So that means inevitably he's going to get moved at some point, that they backloaded the deal, because next year he's going to be making $8 million on the payroll, the year after 14, then 15. Once it climbs up to like the 19, 22 million range, I mean, there's no way the A's are going to have any interest in paying him.
No.
There's just no way. So he's going to get, it's not going to be this year, but he's going to get moved either next year or the year after, because there's no way that team's paying that much money to a player. I mean, it was already a shock when Luis Severino got paid, which they'll probably move him today too. I mean, that's another name.
Yeah, even though I know we've heard the rumors that Severino wants out, and I mean, I don't blame him either, because especially when you look at the home and the road splits, he looks like another complete different pitcher when he's pitching on the road, apart from pitching over there in that AAA ballpark. I mean, freaking seeing him the other day falling, after throwing his second and third pitch. I mean, he just, he wants to get out of there, but we haven't heard really any rumors of any teams connected to him. So interested to see if he does end up getting moved. And I mean, for his sake, he probably does just want to just end up getting out there. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes out there and simply demands a trade and says, "Listen, you better get me out of here."
We have a tweet from Mike Puma that the Mets at the moment view a starting pitcher addition as less likely than a bat, but not impossible. So things could change as we get closer. I hope that they end up acquiring both, though. To me, you gotta get a starter.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, and I don't know. We'll see. I would like, if they're not getting a starter, then I would like two bats. Like I don't think, to me, you got to get two. You got to make two moves today at the minimum.
Yeah, yeah. Either that or like what Brian says. If you don't get a starting pitcher, you add two bats and then call up on McLean or Sprout.
I wouldn't mind that either. If they go two bats and then call up one of the young pitchers, that's a route I don't mind going. But we'll see. I mean, things change as we progress throughout the day, and teams start to change their asking price when they get desperate to move these guys. I hope that things do change on the starter front because I really want this team to add a starting pitcher. I'm tired of watching everyone but David Peterson throw 5 innings and then that's it. But I mean, to counter what Mike Puma was saying, there was also that report, I think it was from Buster Olney, that the Mets were interested in potentially one of the Diamondbacks starting pitchers. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
always tough with the conflicting reports. Maybe it's just a smokescreen from the Mets to use Mike Puma as a mouthpiece. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Brian. Brian. I don't see them calling up Tong straight from Double A. I mean,
It could
I
happen. They
know
did it with
Tong.
Miguel.
I know, but they were. I think they were much more in a more desperate situation for starting pitching at that point than they are
I think they
right
kind of are
now.
now, though, too, at this rate.
Yes, but not as desperate as they were in 2021. And I think with Tong though they want to be careful because I mean even when you compare him and Sproat, I mean, I think Tong has dominated a bit more than Sproat at Double A, but even then, Sproat was killing it at Double A, and they didn't come up to the major leagues right away. You know, they wanted him to go to Triple A and then season him a little bit more. And then obviously, we saw Sproat end up hitting he ended up hitting that a bit of a wall in Triple A, and he's starting to finally figure himself out and get out of that little jam that he got into. So I think they want to be a bit careful with Tong. I think they want to season him a bit more and make sure he gets a bit more ready before they end up calling him to the major leagues. I do think though that I don't think this year he gets called up to the major leagues. I do think next year though, if because I do expect that. I mean, and if they call up one or Sproat or McLean this year, let's just say as an example, right? If they don't land a starting pitcher, I think then we'll see Tong get moved up to AAA, which I think he should get moved up to AAA regardless because I think
Yeah.
he
He's too
probably
good for Double A.
he needs to step up in his challenge anyway. But yeah, I think they do want to be a bit precautionary with Tong and just make sure they ramp him up slowly but surely because I don't think they want to, I don't think they want to bring up Tong right away and then see him hit a wall right when they get into the major leagues and then it kind of takes a dip to his confidence, send him back down. I think they want to be a bit patient with him. And listen, I understand that we want to see these guys up here, but especially with developing pitchers, it takes usually a bit more longer with the bat. So and I'm willing to be a bit. I'm willing to be a bit more patient on the pitching side, especially with a guy like Tong.
I'm with you on that. And he's not on the 40 man now, so they'd have to make room, which there might actually be room on the 40 man right now. I could be wrong, but uh they're gonna get a center fielder today, Max. I think that's the layup. I think they're gonna add that. It's really more of what else could they add in addition. And to me, it's like you gotta either add another bat, like I keep saying, or you gotta add another starter. And
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, there's also the possibility of them getting a little creative with the roster if the opportunity opens because we heard Marte's name thrown out there a few times. We heard McNeil's name thrown out there and a couple of other roster players. So who knows? They might go out there and get a little bit more aggressive than we think. Maybe you guys know if you are longtime viewers and this kind of profiles with what Brian's saying. Brandon Lau, I would love. You get a left-handed DH there since he's not really the best in the field. He's a guy that can mash righties. You get Robert who mashes lefties. To me, it's a match made in heaven to have both of those guys, especially because when they inevitably get a center fielder, like whether it's Robert or whoever, they're going to move a guy like Acuna or Vientos in the deal. So it's kind of more lateral at that point. You got to add, in my opinion, to this group. You got to add someone.
Yeah, that's the key word, creativity. I know that's something we don't experience a lot on here, considering who the GM is for our hockey team that we support. Because when he hears when he hears the word creativity, he starts twitching and shaking, just uncontrollably. And yeah, we see how and that's how you end up with guys like Carson Soucy on your roster and Will Borgen, and that's we don't like that, but. Yeah, I mean, listen, Stearns has shown that when he has to get creative, he can certainly do it. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, like you said, the center fielder, whether it's Robert, whether it's Mullins, maybe it's Ramon Laureano. Which I mean, sure, I wouldn't exactly love Ramon Laureano because he hasn't really been the same guy since his Oakland days and since he got busted with the PEDs. So. Yeah, I do think ultimately though, Robert or Mullins, one of them the Mets do end up acquiring, and then like we've been talking about, if they don't end up acquiring another starting pitcher via trade, hopefully, you go the route of acquiring a guy like Brandon Lau, and then call up one of the younger guys as a starting pitcher option, or if you don't, you end up getting just a one bat, and then you obviously make a trade for starting pitcher. Whether that's a guy like Sandy, whether it's a guy like Edward Cabrera, whether it's obviously not Mitch Keller because we heard that the Pirates are not going to move on from him, but whether it's a guy like Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, we'll see. There's a lot of options available. So Stearns definitely has the ability to get creative here. It's just whether other teams value the remaining prospects that the Mets do have to offer.
That or some of the roster players, and Brian, this would definitely change the culture here. So I'm with you on that one. It would be another move in a series of culture-changing moves. So I would love that to be the platoon situation going forward. And while Lau isn't great in the field, at least he could actually play in the field if you need him to play in the field in a crunch. I wonder what's the Rays starting staff even looking like? Because I'm wondering if maybe they could do some sort of like package deal there.
They just flipped Littell yesterday to the Reds, so
that would have been nice.
Yeah, I know they have Pepio,
Rasmussen, and Boyle. That's who they have listed right now. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just saw a certain someone on the restricted list as well while I'm scrolling through the Rays roster. That's a name.
Not good.
Not good at all. Yeah, I don't know. And then Taj Bradley's still in the organization, but no thanks.
Taj Bradley.
I also wouldn't mind Yandy Diaz.
Yeah, Yandy as well.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but wouldn't mind it.
Fuck it, let's go back in time. David Price, anyone? And Evan Longoria, maybe?
No, let's go back in time and get Juan Uribe. Yes, Quan is still available, but the asking price is absolutely absurd. And if they're asking for any, like, they would probably want, just given what the Guardians asked for in return from the Padres, the Mets would probably have to give up Tong in the deal. And to that, I say no thanks. I'll be back in a minute, by the way.
All right. But yeah, let's see what else happens. Let's see. No, yeah, yeah, right. I agree. Tong is not getting moved God, unless like you're getting a superstar player in return. Like example, like let's just say like if you're gonna make with the guard, if you're making a trade with the Guardians, right, and you're getting Jose Ramirez back, then yeah, I'd flip Jonah Tong just because you're getting a guy in Jose Ramirez who's one of the better switching hitting players in all baseball. Very good glove at third base. You know, signed to a relatively relatively team friendly deal as well. I mean, I don't think he's getting paid like like a ton. I mean, I would. Oh, my camera went. Hold on. Yeah, I don't think he's getting paid a ton either. I mean, let me pull up his contract. Jose Ramirez. Yeah, 7-year deal, $141 million. I mean, he's being this year's being paid $19 million. Next year, $21 million. Year after that, 23, and then his final year of his deal, he's making $25 million. $25 million a year. So I mean, yeah, if I mean, listen, if the Guardians are offering me Jose Ramirez, which I don't think they will, I don't think that they would want to trade him just because again, you're unless you're getting Hall back. But I mean, yeah, if if they were asking for Jonah Hong in that deal, then yeah, I would absolutely do that. Jonah Tong could be Dwight Gooden. Hopefully it's Dwight Gooden without all the drug problems. So, I mean, listen, if you're getting like 84, 85, 86, type Dwight Gooden out of Jonah Tong, I mean, you gladly take that unless I didn't get the opportunity to watch, Doc when he was pitching in his prime. So, but I'm sure, it must have been nasty because I pretty much heard from everyone that are Met fans. It's like every time Doc Gooden took them out at Shea Stadium for a regular season game, it was a much watch event. I mean, it must have been the same like when Seaver was pitching. Obviously again didn't get to see Seaver pitch, but yeah, rest in peace to him. And then same thing like when we got to watch DeGrom pitch every 5 days. It was just special going out to see pretty much. And I mean, Jacob DeGrom for me should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like I know, look, relatively like he's had injuries and stuff, and probably he doesn't have the long term dominance of like other guys in the Hall of Fame. But for what he's put up in terms of number wise, and I mean he's having a freaking terrific year with the Rangers this year, and it looks like he's a rejuvenated guy after getting the Tommy John surgery. So yeah, I mean it it definitely must have been nice to watch a guy like a guy like Doc Gooden pitch. But I mean, listen, if Tom could be anywhere near Doc Gooden, you absolutely take that.
And then even for a stretch, it gets forgotten, but Harvey Day was a thing. And even with Syndergaard for a stretch too, is like you wanted to be at the ballpark to watch these guys pitch. And it sucks that we got robbed of that with what could be right now with Zach Wheeler, but
Yeah.
thank you, Brody. Thank you, Will Pons, which it drives me insane. Like why couldn't Cohen just get the team 1 year earlier? Because then you're talking about potentially Wheeler being Wheeler's definitely still a Met, and then you're maybe talking about Mookie Betts being on the Mets as well. Like that, it bothers me to this day. The only, I guess, counter to the Mookie Betts thing is maybe Lindor isn't here if
Yeah.
Betts is here. So it's a give or take situation in that regard. But the thing that obviously sucks is Zach Wheeler the most. I mean, I'll never get over that. Could you imagine this team right now with Zach Wheeler? Because then it would be clear. You add two bats today and you're done. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, we have to suffer with him in Philly nonetheless.
Yeah, and they didn't even freaking, give him a qualifying offer. So the Mets didn't even get a freaking draft pick when they end up signing for the Phillies. So again, thank you, Brody Van Wagenen. Come and get us.
Yeah, and then at the end of the year, they came and they got us. Like, okay.
At least we're not having trade deadlines where Todd Frazier's our big acquisition. Where he's
A
coming back.
reunion, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Robinson Chirinos.
Thoughts on Edward Cabrera? I would like Cabrera if they were to bring him in. I mean, obviously, I still think he has a couple more years left on his, in terms of control. I mean, let me pull up his contract. Edward Cabrera, Spotrac.
While you look that up, I will say that I would absolutely do disgusting things for Edward Cabrera to be a Met because he's the prototypical guy that has the stuff, just can't put it together. You put him in this pitching lab, like I talk about all the time with so many other pitchers. I think that this pitching lab could get him to reach his full potential. I mean, just he throws gas. You add him to this rotation, and that would be a really fun ad because again, I think they could get the most out of him and potentially turn him into a top of the rotation arm. I don't think it's fair to label him as an ace at his peak, but like if the Mets were to get that from him, great. But I would absolutely love still if you got him and he could be kind of that top end of the rotation type guy.
Yeah, I just checked. With Cabrera, he's got 3 more years of control left after this year. He's not a free agent until 2029 when he's 31 years old. So that would be a very nice ad if the Mets could get him in. And especially like you said, for a guy that certainly does have the stuff, but he hasn't been able just to put everything together. Again, you put him in this pitching lab, watch and see what will happen. I'm not saying, Edward Cabrera is going to, become a Cy Young pitcher, but, he could definitely be a guy that's, a good number two, a solid number three that's just giving you, consistent innings. And I mean, again, that's another thing that the Mets need. They need an innings eater. So, yeah, I mean, if they could get Cabrera, and I don't know exactly what the price is going to be, I don't imagine it'd be more than Sandy, just because I think Sandy has the higher ceiling if he's able, to re-put everything together after, having the Tommy John surgery. So, but if the Mets could definitely swing Cabrera, I mean, that's definitely a guy I would want 100%.
Yeah, honestly, it's just like I'm looking at it right now. His fastball, I don't know what it is, but he just the stuff plus, just looking at it, 93 stuff plus on the fastball. Everything else though is graded out so well. Like 101 stuff plus on the slider, 107 stuff plus on the or sorry, I read that one wrong. Although I'm very confused right now with which pitch that is. That a splitter? I don't know, but the stuff plus on the cutter 117, stuff plus on the changeup 102. Either way, I mean he has above average stuff plus outside of the fastball. I mean maybe you reshape his fastball and that really adds to what he is. And again, what better pitching lab to do it than the one here?
I
I
mean,
mean
we
we
saw. We saw with Canning and how
I
they
was about to
reshaped
say
his
that.
fastball. I mean, listen, Canning's fastball still wasn't, a devastating fastball, but it was certainly a big improvement over what he was showing with the Angels.
And at least the difference with Cabrera though is that he has the velo. So if you reshape
Yeah.
his fastball plus the velo he has, then it will work. It will really work with him. So I would really love. I'm telling myself that like Edward Cabrera would maybe be my favorite starting pitching at this point. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He'd have to give up McLean and/or Tong for Cabrera. I mean, I, I would be fine with giving up McLean. Even if you're talking about starting pitchers, I'd probably end up more likely. I would like to give up Sprout more because I think at least maybe, and again, like you don't necessarily know how these pitchers are going to be once they reach the major league roster, but the fact that McLean really hadn't reached, or he hasn't hit a bump yet at AAA, and we saw Sprout struggle a little bit more than in what we expected. Maybe McLean does have the higher ceiling. I think out of all three, Tong has the higher ceiling. But again, we still have to see how he handles AAA when he does inevitably get called up. But yeah, I mean, listen, and again, like you're getting a guy with Cabrera, which this pitching lab can reshape some of his stuff. He has 3 more years left to control him. Listen, would it suck to give up one of these 3 starters? Yes, but again, the Mets are in a position to go out and win. So are these guys necessarily, contributing to this team right now, next year, 2 years? Like, yeah, they could, but, Cabrera could be a serious impact for this team right now, and they're trying to win a World Series. I mean, again, we just saw the Padres give up the number 3 prospect in all of baseball to get Mason Miller. So, when you're in a position to win, you have to get aggressive. And sometimes it's suck to give up those guys, yes, but if the Mets end up winning a World Series, we're not going to be complaining if they give up, one of Sprotong or McLean.
I gotta disagree with this point though, to be honest with you. I don't think that the Marlins would ask for that much because the Marlins are gonna want guys that are still years away from being in the major leagues because if they get guys that are closer to MLB ready, they're just gonna have to flip them in a few years again anyway. I think that the guy that they would want the most in that deal is Elian Pena. I think Pena would be the guy that they ask for the most because he's still very young. He's only 17 years old still, and which is just insane. But he's 17 years old. I think that that's the type of guy they would want headlining the package. I could be wrong on that completely, but I don't think that they would ask for McLean or Tong in return for Cabrera, which if they did, I mean, I'd still consider it because Cabrera is so young and has years of control. I would not want to move Tong. I would I would probably be more inclined to move Sprout in that kind of deal than anyone. And by the way, I read everything completely wrong just now. So in terms of the with Cabrera, what changed this year and why he's having a better year, one, the fastball usage is way down. And in terms of the stuff plus, just because I read it completely wrong, the fastball's 93 stuff plus, and it's the sinker that's 101 stuff plus, the slider's 107 stuff plus, and it was a curveball, not a cutter that with 117 stuff plus. So an elite curveball. And then the changeup's 102 stuff plus. Again, I think you could still get more out of Cabrera as well. So I wouldn't hate it. I mean, he's 27 years old. He's a little older than I thought. I don't know why I thought he was like 24. Maybe I just remember him like first coming up still. And it's like in my head that he's still 24, but
Yeah, no, he's 27, and then when he ends up hitting free agency, he'll be 31 years old. So you're pretty much getting, the beginning prime years of his career if the Mets were to acquire him. Which, again, put him in this pitching lab, work out a couple kinks, and again, you have the 3 years of control left on him. You could get yourself a very good, innings eater and top the line, arm rotation. Which again, I'm not saying he's going to be an ace, but could be a very good number 2, number 3 in this rotation. If you pair him along with a guy like Sanga, Manai, and other guys like that.
I'm with you on this that I would be hesitant. I mean, the only other guys where maybe you can move and get this done, maybe they would want Marco Vargas back. Like maybe that's a name. Um, Ewing could be an intriguing name for the Marlins as well, which that's a name again I wouldn't like to give up, but it's the price you got to pay. I mean, at the end of the day, this team's trying to win now, and Cabrera does have control at least for a while. If you got to part with these prospects that are far away from being MLB ready, then so be it. Because I'd rather keep the prospects that are closer to MLB ready, and then dump the guys that aren't. Because you should be able to replenish those guys. If you're a good enough team, you should be able to replenish them.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you on this entirely, Max. Like, I think that you could really unlock another level if you reshape that fastball with Edward Cabrera. I really think that you could look at a guy that could be a top of the rotation kind of arm potentially. I mean, he needs to work on the walk issue a bit. His location's a little bit all over the place as well. But if you reshape the fastball again, maybe that will help him out a little bit more. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do like just looking at it on Savant right now when you break down when you break down his pitches in the pitch track. I mean, 122 batting average on the curveball, 194 batting average on the slider, and you look at the whiff rate on those pitches, 42.2% whiff rate on the curveball and a 42.5% whiff rate on the slider. So I mean, like I said, if you make those slight adjustments to that four seamer and you make it a bit more deadlier, add it along with the slider and the curveball, maybe improve the changeup a little bit more. He's got potential to be very nasty.
John Morosi just put out a tweet, by the way. The Phillies are likely to add a right-handed bat. The names they're looking at are Robert, Laureano, Bader, and Pham. So,
Bader to Philly.
Levator.
A Bader.
Uh, I get it's fun to play pretend with this, but the Pirates would laugh at this offer. Unfortunately, they would laugh at this and hang up the phone. Probably block Stern's number to this deal. I mean, you'd have to give Pena up in that deal as well. You'd probably have to give up. I don't know. I mean, you'd probably have to give up another prospect. I like the imagination. I would love Paul Skeens on this team. I would like O'Neal Cruz as well, but unfortunately, I don't think that would get it done at all.
If you were to add Pena to that deal, I'd still do it 100%.
Oh, I mean, obviously we'd still do it, but you'd have to add a lot more
Yeah.
to that deal, unfortunately.
Which I probably still just end up doing anyway, just because I think Skeens is that good, and he has still so many more years left to control. Then you have a guy in O'Neal Cruz, which plays center field, not the greatest center fielder, so someone just probably wouldn't like watching him on a day-to-day basis. But guy freaking hits the ball hard, and he puts the ball in the air, which I know a certain someone else wouldn't like either, because we don't put the ball we don't put the ball in the air here. Everything has to be on the ground. And you can't have high exit velocities as well. But I mean, yeah, listen, if Paul Skeens ever gets moved, which eventually in the future he's going to get moved because the Pirates don't ever pay one of their guys. I mean, unless you're Andrew McCutchen, but even then they still end up letting McCutchen go. In his later years. But yeah, I mean, if you add Skeens to this rotation, oof.
I said it in our group chat. Once Scooble puts pen to paper with whatever team it is, that's when Skeens is getting moved, because Skeens is probably going to want to be on a new team by then to get a contract before the lockout begins. And on top of that, I also think that teams are going to get more desperate if they lose out on Scooble to try and get Paul Skeens, and the Pirates could get their best return then. It's my prediction. I could be wrong. I've been wrong, but we will see. And sure, I mean, I would love for the Phillies to go for Bader instead of like Robert or someone, but I'd imagine Bader's more of the pivot for them, or like Tommy Pham's a pivot option for them.
Tommy Pham.
Tommy Sham.
Tommy Sham.
Reports have been silent about Gallen. Is Arizona trading him? Not sure. I mean, Buster Olding, like I said, while he was doing the chop, of course, he was saying that the Mets are interested in adding a starter potentially from Arizona. Is that Kelly? Is that Gallen? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, geez, like even with Skeens, like he's got 4 years left to control. He has pre-arb this year, and then arb 1, arb 2, arb 3 before he ends up hitting the market at 28 years old. I mean, fuck it. I would just do it, like if the Mets were to ever acquire, I would do an Atlanta Braves. I would just buy out the years of arbitration, give them a contract. I'm like, here you go. I'm paying you for the early years of your career.
We got to move. The Tigers acquire Kyle Finnegan, so some more bullpen help for the Tigers.
Yeah. Good ad for the Tigers.
Good ad for them, but holy crap, please add a bat. Okay, like beyond the off the field stuff for a second here. Just because I always see this, and I'm not like directing this at you to like I'm not being an asshole or anything here, but I just don't understand the fascination from just purely forget about the off the field stuff for a second. From purely a pitching standpoint, a guy that started to clearly show signs of being a spider tack merchant and has been horrible since going over to Japan, getting lit up in Japan, getting demoted to the minor league squad in Japan. So purely from a baseball standpoint, no. And I don't understand. And again, this isn't just you. I don't understand the fascination with certain people around baseball about getting him. Like, I get it that, the name and what him winning that Cy Young that one year and all that other stuff, but he's not that guy anymore. He's just not the same pitcher. He's been out of baseball for a bit, and I think it goes beyond the off the field stuff at this point with him for why teams aren't signing him. It's that simple in my opinion.
No, listen, just the guy, the guy's a glorified YouTuber now. Like that's pretty much how it is. And listen, I'm not hating on his YouTube content because I actually do like his YouTube stuff. So I'm not hating on what's it called Bauer for that. But yeah, the guy's not a major league pitcher anymore. He's just not. I mean, like, listen, cool. Like, if he proves me wrong, and one day he returns to America, and he ends up pitching in the minor leagues, and he ends up getting, somehow back to the major leagues, like, cool. I'll I'll take the L on that one, but he's never getting anywhere near close to what he was. When he won that Cy Young with the Reds back in 2020. Initially when he signed that contract, that big 3-year deal with the Dodgers in the 2020 or the 2021 offseason going into the 2021 season. I mean, just like the guy's getting lit up in Japan. I'm pretty sure he gave up. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, he gave up the longest home run in Japanese baseball history, which is like cool. I guess it's just it's a hard pass on Trevor Bauer. Like I said, like his YouTube content, but as a major league pitcher, no, hard pass on that. Yeah, and like you said, Brian, there's such a high need for starters that if he was good, he would have been signed by now. Exactly, and like I said, not even to a major league deal, but just sign him to a minor league deal. Get him ramped up, just see what you have. And like teams aren't even doing that. So I mean, it's like, and again, I don't know what the pay difference is between there and Japan. I don't know what their top guys over there in Japan make in terms of money wise. So yeah, I'm not sure. Look, maybe Trevor Bauer doesn't want to pitch here in MLB. Maybe he just likes it over there in Japan and over there, in the Pacific. I don't know. It's not my personal decision. I don't know what he's thinking about in his head, but yeah, I mean, listen, for me, like I said, it's a hard pass on Trevor Bauer. Yeah, let's, let's see what ends up happening though, because like I said, Finnegan to the Tigers. That's a good ad. I mean, let me just pull up the Tigers roster. Let me see how their bullpen is shaping up. Tigers Fangraphs. Yeah, I mean, Will Vest, Holton, Canley, Montero, like you said, just added him yesterday. So it's a nice little bullpen there also with Kyle Finnegan. They
Seawald too.
don't. What happened?
Seawald as
Yeah,
well.
Seawall too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they don't have that big necessarily shutdown guy. I mean, maybe they're banking on Kyle Finnegan to be that guy, but it's a solid bullpen. But I still think they probably need to end. They need to add one more back end reliable closer to fully flesh out that bullpen, and then like we were saying, add a couple bats here or there, and then because I mean, listen, the Tigers, they have a very good rotation. You add a couple more power bats to that lineup. Like I said, the Tigers are certainly one of the front runners, along with the Mariners, to represent the AL in the World Series. So let's see what happens. Still plenty of time. I mean, what we got, 5 hours and 20 minutes till the deadline. So yeah, let's see.
I will say, I can't believe we've gone this long without talking about the biggest trade that has happened thus far. And it
And what is
happened
it?
last night. Steven Matz going to Boston. How did we not talk about that?
Steven Matz for freaking what's his name? Blaze Jordan. He's actually playing. He's actually playing well in the minor leagues. I looked at his numbers this year in Double A and Triple A. He's actually put up respectable numbers. I think he has an 809 OPS in Triple A.
Yeah, he's hooping. It's just that there was the whole thing that he was Rule 5 eligible after this year, so they figured,
Yeah.
we got to move him. I thought they could have done better than Steven Matz in the Big 25, but that's a different story. But we will never forget Steven Matz's contributions for getting Cohen pissed off.
I wonder if Jerry Reinsdorf's hatred for Cohen would have prevented from doing business with Rivera. I mean, listen, could have happened, sure, but I think for the White Sox, you're in such a bad spot right now where you need any kind of talent to add to your team and to your minor league system, and yeah, just to your major league system, to your major league team too, because respectively, like they're probably just a glorified minor league team at best right now. So I mean, listen, I get that Reinsdorf may not like Cohen, but your hatred for another owner can't step in front of you from turning down a better package than from what other teams are offering you. Like that would just be dumb, and it would be negligible. Which I mean, would I expect anything less from Reinsdorf and the White Sox? No, but it wouldn't be smart. If the Mets are offering you the best package for Robert, you take it as the best package.
Yeah, and they're also selling the team soon, so it's like,
Yeah.
are you really gonna be that petty? Like, this isn't Terry Pagula here, who's just fucking stupid, but that's a whole separate conversation.
Got the return well, not the full return, but two A ball pitching prospects go to the Nationals. So let's see what ends up that being.
Right, so we're gonna find out soon who's gonna touch us inappropriately at some point.
John Morosi, the A's are not currently discussing Tyler Soderstrom in trade talks. Fucking A's.
I gotta say with the A's that honestly, their hot start really saved me, and then them fizzling out saved me because I put a bet on them before the year for them to make the playoffs, and then once they got off to that hot start, I cashed out of the bet and
Cast out.
profited a bit. And I was getting scared because they were still on a hot stretch for a bit, and I'm like, "Oh shit, they might actually make the playoffs this year." I shouldn't have cashed out, but thankfully that's not going to be the case anymore. So I got my profit and ran. A rare betting success for me.
It's always the right move. When you have the money in hand, you'd never try to push it. Just take it and run. John Morosi. I wonder if anyone's getting on a plane to Toronto today. I mean, apart from Shane Bieber. Hmm.
Speaking of Shane Bieber, I've only seen 500 tweets about it. Did you know that he has the same last name as Justin Bieber, and Justin Bieber is from Toronto? So he's probably going to purchase a Shane Bieber jersey. Did you know that? Because I've only seen that many tweets about it.
Oh God, Justin fucking Bieber. This is not fucking 2012. Get the fuck out of here with that. It's definitely quieted down since the Miller trade, but I think yeah, Justin Bieber in the pick 2025. But yeah, it's definitely quieted down since the Miller trade. Like I kind of do like that just because I do want to save the bigger trades for when we end up doing the bigger show later at 3 o'clock. But yeah, it's definitely a bit slower right now.
Will that Miller change the culture though? Or is he not Miller? Yeah, so no.
Miller, yeah. Yeah, I just thought of an idea. Every time Mason Miller strikes out, or like when the Padres in the Padres in the top of the ninth when they have to get the final three outs for each of the three outs, they ring a bell. I think after after Mason Miller gets an out every time, instead of ringing a bell, they should just start yelling "yeah" from the stands.
Speaking of Miller, yeah, they just made the trade official.
No, they did. Miller, yeah.
I'm with you on this, Brian. I do have a feeling on this one. The Wilpons would have signed Justin. You're not wrong about that. And then there would be people rocking his jersey too, because the amount of Tim Tebow jerseys I see, I feel like every time I'm at the ballpark, I see at least one Tebow jersey.
But every time when Modell's used to still be an actual thing, like back in like 17, 18, like freaking Tim Tebow jerseys were like the first Met jerseys I'd see walking into Modell's. I'm like, really? This is what we're doing? Tim Tebow. God. Thankfully, this franchise is not dysfunctional anymore. Like fucking those years.
Not only Mets jerseys, I would see Tim Tebow Jets jerseys in the clearance rack for $1. Which $1 for a jersey, you know what? I kind of fumble not like jumping on that opportunity. Like, might as well for $1 just grab a Tim Tebow Jets jersey. Why not?
Dollar. Damn, Models were really that desperate to get rid of those jerseys. They're like, just fucking just take it. All I'm asking for is $1.
I'm more scared right now of the Padres doing that, Max. I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely more afraid of the Padres getting Robert at this rate. I'm hoping that they're more interested in Duran and the Red Sox are willing to move him, but I don't know. I mean, Preller's a madman.
Gabriel, do we think we still have a shot at Robert? Yeah, we certainly do have still a very good shot at landing Robert. It's just, you know, the only question is, do the Mets or can the Mets offer the best prospect package in return? Because the Padres, they do have a very good prospect system. Same with the Phillies. So it's all about who gives up the best package at the end of the day for Robert, and we'll see if that's the Mets. But if they do, it'd be a good ad. But yeah, like I said, I still think the Mets have a good shot landing Robert.
I hate the tweets like John Morosi just put out where it's like Harrison Bader is expected to be moved in the next several hours. Thank
No,
you. We had no clue.
no
Like,
shit.
I don't understand why these guys can't just give us the news when it drops. Like, I don't care about, oh, Harrison Bader is going to get moved. We all fucking know. We've known this for weeks. Only report if guys are either getting moved or if there's a guy that we thought was going to get moved that isn't anymore.
Robert can't hit another center fielder that can't hit. I mean, listen, Robert hasn't had a good year statistically when you look at all of his numbers, but when you break down the numbers, when he hits very well against lefties, I believe he's hitting like 282 against lefties. So you could platoon him, but listen, to be fair to Robert, ever since his name has started popping up in trade discussions, he started playing a little bit better. And I do think that if he ends up getting traded to a team, and he's going to get traded to a contender because obviously he's going to get traded to either one of the Mets, Phillies, or the Padres. But if he gets when he does end up getting traded, to a locker room that's actually in a winning environment, I do think you're gonna see his numbers and his play start to pick up, and along with him having a very good glove in center field. So it's not like you're adding another Tyrone Taylor, Jose Siri guy to your lineup. I mean, sure, could Robert come here and not hit? It very well may be a possibility, but he does very well have a higher ceiling than guys like Tyrone Taylor or Jose Siri respectively. So listen,
Here's my mm, go ahead and finish your
no,
point.
you can go ahead. I was done anyway.
Oh, I was gonna say, here's where I stand on Robert at the moment. And I wanted to wait to say some of these things to see where he goes before I say it. But I'll break it down in simple terms. If he goes to Philly, he's a bum. If he's here, then he's gonna do great. That's how I'll do it.
That
If
works.
he comes here, then I've warmed up to the idea. But if he goes to Philly, I never wanted him anyway, and he's a bum. So that's just that's how I'll break it down for you guys.
Yeah, if he goes to Philly, he's just a glorified Aaron Altair at that point.
Yeah, we didn't want him anyway, though. Exactly, though, Max. It's so annoying. It's like, oh, the Mets and Phillies are still interested in Robert. Like, thank you, John. Update us when there's actual news. And I don't know if I brought this up on a live stream or not, but in case anyone didn't know, I lived in John Heyman's head rent free apparently last year at the deadline because last year he put out a tweet that the Phillies are interested in adding a closer at the trade deadline. I said, breaking news, a contending team is looking to add bullpen help and get better. And then an hour later, Estevez got traded there. And John Heyman replied to me right as the trade happened. Didn't even like he put out his tweet about it and then replied to me. That's how much I was in his head. And he's like, oh, well, Estevez got traded an hour after I put out this tweet. Coincidence? I think not.
No, it's not a coincidence. You're stating a fact that was probably going to happen. It's not like you said like if he said watch out for Estevez, he may be on the Phillies roster. I mean, he may be on the Phillies radar, and that happened. Cool, but just saying, oh, they're in the market for bullpen help. Yeah, no shit, because they're trying to be a one of the top contenders and improve their chance of winning a World Series. Like that's
No, he did put Estevez in the tweet, but he put
oh, he did.
Estevez in the tweet with like 5 other names. So, like,
Oh,
yeah, you
okay.
were going to be right either way because they're in the market for a reliever. Like, we knew this, John.
Yeah, but they just do that shit for engagement and clicks. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why they keep recycling the same news every 30 minutes.
Yep.
Because it's because they know they're gonna get likes, they're gonna get retweets, they're gonna get engagements, they're gonna get views. So it's like, yeah, you might as well. Fuck it.
Oh, I mean, they know they're going to get the replies because everyone just puts a sarcastic thanks, John, in the replies every time he puts his dumb fucking tweets out.
The sauce boss.
I'll be back again in a few minutes.
All right. Does Arson Judge get traded today? That's the big thing. We already tried Bader last year and he was awful for 2 months at the start of season pass. Yeah, I agree. And we've talked about this plenty of times here with Bader. It's like, listen, we respect what Bader did last year. Certainly, in a transition year, he came in, he did his thing, he played a good center field. He had a couple, clutch hits, earlier in the season, but Bader's just he's a mad player at best. And I think listen, it worked last year for to a certain point because when the Mets ended up getting to the playoffs, Bader pretty much for the most part ended up just being a no-show, and we had to watch Tyrone Taylor play center field most of the time. So it's nothing personal against Bader. I just think the Mets can do a lot better than Harrison Bader. So let's like I said, it's nothing against him, but Bader has a ceiling. It's like he's going to offer you very good defense in center field. I have nothing bad to say against his defense. It's just the bat is just it's not good. And I know he's having a respectable season this year. It's just I don't expect that to translate well to the postseason. When he starts to play more against the better and the more dominant starting pitchers, and the more dominant relievers out there. So it's a hard pass for me on Harrison Bader. So I agree with you. Heyman is a Boris client. Yup. Otani pulled last night for a wild pitches. We should offer McGill to unsettle them and for a laugh. I don't know. I mean, listen, I think Tyler McGill for Shohei Otani. I think that sounds like a pretty fair trade offer for me. That's just me personally. You know, what has Shohei Otani done in his career other than winning 3 MVPs, a World Series champion? Tyler McGill, he's the March and April king of ERA. So I think the Dodgers would be robbing us personally, if they, if we give McGill for Shohei Otani. But that's just me. All jokes aside, though, no. Let's see, 12:57. We're about to hit the 1 o'clock hour, so hour and 3 minutes until, or now 12:50, an hour and 2 minutes till the 6 o'clock trade deadline. So let's see if moves start to ramp up a little bit more now. Wild Willie, I'd go all in on Kwan. He's the last piece we need to make a World Series run. Listen, I think Kwan would be a very good piece to add, but I don't know if you saw what the Guardians were asking for, because the Padres were in on Stephen Kwan, and they wanted the what's his name, the guy that they sent to the A's for Mason Miller, the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. They wanted for Stephen Kwan. So if that's what the Guardians are looking for Kwan, like a top 5 prospect in baseball, then yeah, the Mets don't have anywhere near close to offer for that. And if the Mets were to offer a package, it would probably have to start with a guy like Tong and stuff like that. So no, it's a hard pass for me on Kwan at that point.
I also just because I overheard that, I respectfully disagree on that one because of the fact that. Sorry, I just saw a tweet that the Yankees are in on Cabrera and Sandy. That sucks. But um, I also disagree with the fact that I don't think he's the last piece to help them get over the hump. If he was, then I would say, yeah, go out and get him. But
Yeah, but yeah, just to go back on that Morosi thing, it says the Mons have asked about Spencer Jones, so we know that trade's not happening because Cashman's just reluctant to trade Spencer Jones for anything.
I don't know why. I don't understand why. Like, the strikeout stuff is very concerning for them. But not my problem at the end of the day. It will be my problem if they refuse to trade Spencer Jones and then he goes to a division rival, though, or or both those pitchers, I should say, go to a division rival. And I also overheard this comment here, which I must address. No. Did Shohei Otani win the April Triple Crown for pitching? Did he? That's just my question.
No, he didn't.
Conversation ends there. And not only that, you would have to have Eric Chavez teach Otani how to play the game the right way, because Otani, he hits way too many home runs. He gets way too many extra base hits. Chavez would have to come here and coach him and teach him how to play the right way and show him how to hit singles. So why would we trade an ace in the making, an April, May ace for Shohei Otani?
I think it would be a mistake. Like I said, I think if we were to pull off that trade, I think the Dodgers would be robbing us personally. I just think
They would. We'd have to get way more in the deal. No, like I wouldn't accept the deal unless Will Smith was in it also. Phillies just got Bader, by the way.
Oh, they did. Wow. Okay.
Bomb. So they're out on Robert then.
Yeah. So then
Probably.
it's between us and the
Padres.
Padres for Robert. Stearns versus Preller. Wonder what Broads thinks of the Phillies acquiring Harrison Bader.
Oh, he's gonna be pissed. Harrison Bader to Philly.
He'd be eating all the cheesesteaks.
So Robert's a Met or Padre then.
Yep.
Interesting.
Wonder what they gave up for. I mean, it can't be that much. It's Harrison Bader at the end of the day. No, no disrespect. Well, actually, no, actually, all the disrespect because now he's a Philly.
Yeah, now
All
plenty of disrespect. Mullins versus Robert. I don't know. If you asked me weeks ago, I would have said Mullins. I'm not gonna lie. It's really just the fit of Robert versus Mullins. Like this team needs someone that matches lefties.
Yeah. Plus, I also think Stearns he values the guys with higher ceilings just because, and I know the Mets hitting lab hasn't exactly been great, especially with Eric Chavez running the whole freaking thing. But I think Stearns he's a guy that trusts in his ability to hit high on the guys with higher ceilings. So that's why ideally I think the Mets if they end up getting a center fielder, I think it's going to be Robert.
Yeah, I agree there. I'm just so shocked though that the Phillies they didn't wait to have Bader as the pivot option. I guess that they didn't. I don't know. Maybe the return wasn't good enough. Maybe the Phillies offer wasn't good enough. So I'd imagine Robert's getting moved within like the next hour or two. I could be wrong and it maybe drags, but we'll see.
Harrison Bader. Oh boy. I wonder what Frank thinks of Bader being traded to the Phillies.
The Twins will receive two lightly regarded prospects, according to Bob Nightingale. Cool.
John Heyman adding on Bader to the Phillies.
You know what? The biggest loser of the deadline so far, I think, is him. I don't think he has broke a single trade this deadline.
No, he broke the Helsley trade yesterday.
He did.
Yeah, he was the first one.
Fuck, I don't want to give him credit. I
Yeah,
guess I'll give him. I guess I'll give him credit. All right.
you sometimes you have to give the sauce boss credit where credit is due.
Yeah, it's not fun too, but all right. He could get his flowers for a bit. He'll get his flowers for something, but yeah, we talked about this before a bit, and I actually texted some of my Yankee fan friends about this one, and my Yankee fan brother, and he was saying, my brother hasn't responded yet, but one of my friends was saying that he doesn't want them to give up Jones for um, Sandy or Cabrera. He wants because he doesn't think their pitching lab is good enough to fix Sandy. Those are his words, not mine. He said the pitching lab isn't good enough to fix Sandy here.
All right, so John Morosi, a Stephen Kwan trade today is viewed as increasingly likely. So, I
How?
mean, I
Like genuinely how with that return that they asked for?
I
It's
don't know.
it's the Dodgers or
It has to be.
maybe the Padres still. It's got to be the Dodgers though at this point. The Dodgers are the only team that would get that aggressive. I feel like.
See, I'm kind of yes and no because they need. I kind of think they need bullpen help more, but I'm surprised they didn't swing a deal for freaking Bieber and Kwan, the Dodgers, because they certainly would have got Bieber up back to his full potential with
I
their
honestly
lab.
feel like at this rate they probably didn't want to get um
Another injured
Bieber.
pitcher.
Yeah, because they already have a giant hospital bill right now with their pitching staff. Like they don't want to increase the hospital bill.
Yeah, I mean, if Kwan gets traded to the Padres, then it's pretty much settled that Robert's coming here, unless like something drastic happens that prevents it. But fucking Andrew, all this MLB trade deadline talk. My question: who's getting Matt Grzelcyk?
Not the Rangers because he's
No.
better than Carson Soucy, so we don't want him.
Yes, Carson Soucy is a culture-changing move in the eyes of Chris Drury.
The fact that we're gonna have a whole ass MLB trade deadline before Matt Grzelcyk signs is kind of insane, though. We're getting the MLB trade deadline before Jack Rossovic makes a decision. We needed
Yeah,
the Rossovic decision.
yeah, well, yeah, that's facts. Roslovic still hasn't fucking signed anywhere. I mean, not that I mean, who the fuck wants Roslovic? But I'm just saying.
I thought for a bit Toronto was about to get him, but
Jack lost and sick.
looks like they're
So
pivoting
the
elsewhere. Not to talk about hockey, but I
the
mean,
full the full trade. Twins get Hendry Mendez and then Jeremy Villaria.
interesting.
Never heard of those two guys in my life.
Yeah, I have no clue. That's a nothing burger return. Yeah, you guys think we're here to talk about the MLB trade deadline? Well, joke's on you. We're really here watching to see where Jack Roslovic signs. Joke's on you. We're waiting for Max Pacioretty to pick his team. We're waiting for him to go back to Toronto.
Yeah, Brian. Twins get thing one and thing two.
Pretty much, yeah. You know what? The Rangers will get Max Pacioretty because he ate a tub of ice cream and watched Henrik Lundqvist like we did. Although I guess he didn't watch him. He ate a tub of ice cream and watched Brian Leach like we did.
I'm getting a whole MLB trade deadline where Dubas hasn't traded anyone. And Dubas, that's another fucking genius out there. I guess I mean I would say enjoy watching Matt Dumba, but it's fucking clear that the NHL is gonna fucking rig the deadline. I'm not the deadline, the
The
draft lottery
lottery.
next year for you guys to get Gavin McKenna. So I guess enjoy that.
Somehow their decor is better than the Rangers, though. All right, we won't talk hockey anymore. Sorry, before people get pissed off.
I'm waiting for Mika to wave his. Yeah, that's never happening, Ray. Unfortunately.
To paraphrase what my brother said about it. He said that he said the opposite. He said he wants Sandy. I'm gonna paraphrase what he said there, but I'll send you what he actually said. But
Uh,
those two are always arguing though about what they want with the Yankees.
that's that's insane.
Yeah,
Bader.
unfortunately, he is a good fit there. I'm not shaking over it, but it sucks because it's better than what they had with the fucking Rojas's of the world.
I wonder what Cody thinks about Bader.
Can't play center field.
Yeah, I can't wait to go to Citi Field late August when the Mets play the freaking Phillies for that 3-game series, and we have to watch, Ryan Helsley strike out Harrison Bader. It's gonna be nice. And now that I say that, he'll probably fucking hit like a 2-run home run off him, knowing our luck.
Gregory Soto, please don't be a mouse.
Oh, Frank is excited in the Shavanomics group chat.
What is Unk saying?
About Bader being moved. He just said, "Let's go."
Oh, I forgot Unk is like a D1 Bader hater. Because Unk wanted Teoscar badly instead. Lil Bro wants Teoscar Hernandez, but don't got Teoscar Hernandez money. Bader it is, champ. I remember him being so pissed off about that signing.
Yeah, Unk did not like that.
Unk definitely got enough sleep last night that he's in a good mood. Yeah, I'm wondering the same exact thing, Hornet. I don't think the AL realizes, outside of the Mariners, apparently, I don't think they realize there's a trade deadline. And I guess the Tigers somewhat are aware, but they're like, you know what? We're not going to add a difference maker because, I don't know, because we'd rather just make it a challenge to get to the World Series, even though they could probably be the favorite if they just added a legitimate piece to that team. But sure, they could they could do what they're going to do. I'm sorry. I just got to bring up the fact that the A's shut the replies. They have the replies off for all their tweets. I was going to say they have the reply shut on the tweet for the trade. That is so stupid. I don't think that they're going to land Cease, but I think Robert is likely, Michael. I think Robert is likely, and if they're going to get a starter, I still lean towards Merrill Kelly being the starter that they acquire. And we'll see. They might not even acquire a starting pitcher, but that's my prediction. If they're going to go with a starter and a bat, I mean, obviously they're getting one of Robert or Mullen, so I don't know if you were here when I said it, but I didn't know the A's have their reply shut off for every tweet because I was gonna say the replies were off for the trade tweet, but they have it off for every tweet.
Soft franchise. Because they know they're gonna get a fucking load of shit back, so they're like, might as well not deal with it anyway. But whatever. I will say though, it is nice that the Mets don't play today on trade deadline day, which I think is something that should be done across all sports. I think on trade deadline day, I don't think any team should play. Like, let the fucking general managers, let the presidents do their stuff, let them make the trades, let the guys report. Fucking just have no games whenever there's a trade deadline. It's much better like that.
Yeah, I agree with you there, especially because it's like give these guys time to actually like get to their new teams.
Yeah, and then like if you're making a trade, you know, and let's say a guy doesn't have enough time to get to the certain destination that they're playing at, then let's say you end up trading guys from your major league roster, then you're playing shorthanded for a game. It's like, why
Well,
do that at all? Just have no games and play the next day when all the guys are there. It's dumb.
we have an update with Robert from Mark Faisan that the
What is it?
White Sox have spoken with a number of teams about Robert. Sources say it's more likely he stays with Chicago through the deadline. The White Sox would likely pick up his $20 million option and hope for more of what they've seen over the past month.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, listen, it could be the case. I think that might be though of a negotiating tactic though, just to get the price up for teams.
I'm with you. Yeah, I think it's a smokescreen. The only thing I will say is it does line up with Philly making the move for Bader.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that does. I don't know. It could be a smokescreen, but
Breaking: Brian Cashman is trying to execute the first trade in MLB history where he acquires a player for free. Then we don't have to watch grown men cry on the field. Wilmer Flores, lol, boo. Yeah, the Budo thing was tough to watch yesterday. I mean,
that was
no,
so annoying how they literally panned the camera on him for 3 or 4 innings. Like, we get it. He got traded. Like, show the hugs in the dugout if you want to after he's traded, but we don't need to see every 2 seconds like the bullpen coach or the bullpen catchers, whatever, like calming him down.
yeah. Although I will say though, it is weird because obviously Budo went to San Francisco, Rogers went the other way back to us. It's weird though that both guys are going to be flying with their ex teams back to New York, and then they're just going to end up switching clubhouses. That's weird because they're playing this weekend.
Yeah, and sorry about the dead air. That's just what's going to happen over the course of a long live stream like this and when it's just two of us. There and we're trying to navigate between reading the chat, commentating, and then also
Update.
looking at Twitter to see, what news is going on and everything. It's tough to balance. So we do apologize if there is moments of dead air throughout the stream here. We're doing our best though. It will be easier when we're switching over with Mets Weekly at 3 o'clock. So that's only in about an hour and 40 minutes away. Less than that now. It will be easier because there will be, I think, like probably like 9 or 10 of us on that panel there. So there shouldn't
Yeah,
be a lot of dead air in that time frame. So
yeah. I
be on the
think
lookout for that.
yeah, I think it's either gonna be us two. It's gonna be Carson, Frank, and I think Andrew's gonna be there too. So it's gonna be nice to.
Andrew, if you're in the chat, are you going to be there?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be there because I remember him talking about it. When he did the I think it was two podcasts ago with Carson. I know Ibby and John Sapanaro from Till Mets Do His Part, which that's a great channel. Make sure you guys check them out as well. They're gonna be on there as well. I think Keith's gonna be on there as well.
Tony's going to
Um,
be on there, I think.
yeah, Anthony from Subway to Shea, he'll be on there.
That
It's
was the other
it,
name I was forgetting.
yeah, it's gonna be a fun stream too. So plenty of voices.
Yeah, it's gonna be 10 of us. That's
yeah.
absolutely insane.
Look, I just sent the group chat.
Of course. Of course. My gosh. All right. Uh O's are gonna ask for the moon for Mullins. I don't know
Oh,
about
hold
that.
on. Oh, wow. I thought it was a. It's not really a big trade, but I saw Dodgers and I immediately got excited.
Brock
Dodgers are
Stewart.
finalizing the deal to get Brock Stewart. I thought that was the big move that they were gonna make.
That's still a that's still a name. That's
Oh, it's
still
a
a
name,
solid
but
move.
it's a name,
Brock
but what?
Stewart's having a really good year right now.
No, it's a name, but I thought because like we were talking about earlier, like the Dodgers have something up their sleeve. I thought like that was gonna be like the big trade, like a Quan trade, something like that.
I need to see. Oh my goodness, his
Yeah, he's having a
baseball
good year.
savant page.
Yeah, this,
Yeah, he's
okay, yeah, he's gonna be a demon for them.
yeah, he's pretty good. Oh my god.
89.
144 stuff plus on the slider.
That's yeah,
Are
that's
you kidding? That's gross.
93 percentile in whiff rate, 89 percentile in K rate, 92% barrel rate, 91 percentile in hard hit percentage.
Although it's weird because yeah, it's weird because Fangraphs has it listed as a slider, while Baseball Savant has it listed as a
It's a
sweeper.
sweeper.
So that's weird. Because I was gonna say, because I'm looking at his Savant page and I'm like, I don't see he throws a slider, but I guess they just list it as that. I mean, his stuff is grayed out across the board outside of the changeup, which he doesn't really have to throw it. But I'm sure the Dodgers will just get it to work for him. But
That's what, I mean, he's getting results though with the changeup because I'm looking at the pitch tracking. He has a batting average of 188 and an expected batting average of 0.93 on the changeup. 200 batting average on the sweeper, 191 on the four seamer. Yeah, this guy that's and then whiff rate 52.2% whiff rate on the sweeper. That's nasty.
I hate how good of an ad this is. Yeah, that 144 stuff plus though, that is gross. 112 on the fastball too. So it's like, man, this guy's
Yeah.
good. What a get for the Dodgers, and I freaking hate it.
All right, I will rescind my not a big move. That's a good pickup for them.
That's a huge move, unfortunately.
That's
Pause, but that's a really good move for them because that's a team that has been freaking decimated by injuries, especially to their pitching staff, and they needed the bullpen help, to be completely honest with you, because they just have not got, outside of injuries, they haven't got the consistency they thought they'd get from guys like Kasparius. Bonda's kind of regressing a little bit. Um,
Scott's not had a good year.
yeah, Scott hasn't been as sharp. Now Stewart's kind of, I mean, they're going to do closer by committee there, but Stewart's going to help that out a lot because, yeah, Yates hasn't had that good of a year either. Their bullpen, honestly, is not, it hasn't been great, Big Cat. It hasn't been
That's
great,
been
though.
great.
Outside of, like, Vesia, it's kind of been mid at best. So that changes things a lot for them. That's a really good grab for them. I really want to see what they gave up here because considering what the relievers are going for, considering what the Mets gave up for uh Rogers, I'm curious to see what Stewart gets because Stewart still has, yeah, he still has 2 years of control after this of arbitration. So
Yeah.
he's probably getting a decent return here.
Rayburn just said on MLB Network that the White Sox are asking for Tong plus Luis Robert. If that's the case, then yeah, no. Then
Really though.
pivot to Mullins at that point. No, I'm not giving up Tong plus for Luis Robert. Absolutely not.
Are the White Sox out of their mind? Like, no. I don't understand that. Like, is that there's no way that's true.
Can't be.
There's no way. How did we go from Vientos or Acuna being like the headliner, quote unquote, of the deal to Jonah Tong. Like, if that's the case, then get the fuck out of here. Like, if we're giving up Jonah Tong, we could go find an elite center fielder somewhere and trade for someone with years of control. If they're giving up Tong, then I'd rather just go get Quan at that
Yeah, I'd
point.
rather get Quan.
Like, get lost with that bullshit. And I'm not saying that I would want to give up Tong for Quan either way, but if they're
But
going to give one,
if you had to go Tong, you're giving him, or you'd be more willing to give him up for Quan than Luis Robert.
yeah, like, get lost. Get absolutely lost.
We have heard 500 things about what they want. It's 100% the White Sox trying. They're definitely trying to trade up it. Definitely trying to increase his trade value, but you're not doing that by saying, "Oh, we want Jonah Tong," because that's just unrealistic. White Sox wanted a Roman Anthony for Crochet last year. The deadline. Well, the Red Sox did the right thing. They were smart. They waited. They waited till the offseason. They still gave up a good haul for Crochet, but they got him at a decent price and then extended him. So
I just don't understand, like, how they think they could ask for that kind of return. What? Because he's had a good month of playing better baseball? Get fucking lost. No wonder. You know what? That would line up though with the Phillies pivoting the Bader as early as they did, because there is. I was like, why are they pivoting before Robert even gets traded? Now that makes perfect sense though. If they're truly asking for that much, I would have rather have got Bader than at that point too. Like, just get the fuck out of here with that.
I'm hearing Stearns on the call with the White Sox laughing. Oh, I think he did more than laughing. I think he dropped a few explicitives if that's what they were asking. Hmm.
I can't believe that though.
Yeah, no, it's
Like, there's no freaking way. I don't like. I don't even understand the point of talking to the White Sox if that's the case, because that is completely unreasonable. Yeah, I mean, no one's giving the White Sox what they want there. And I get they have the leverage because of the control that Robert has, but be reasonable with your ask here. And you know what? Now Robert, if I were him, I would just either request out or I would just stop trying for the team. Because it's like, you're being that stubborn. Because I'd imagine part of why he was playing better baseball is because he wants to get the fuck out of there. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them for asking, but I could ask for $1 million. I'm not going to get it. Like, they should be, if they're that hell bent on getting Jonah Tong, then no thank you. No thank you. And they could hold on to Luis Robert and keep their prospect pool a little bit weaker and wait for Robert's value to diminish a little more. Go ahead and do that if they want to. Go ahead and keep him around and have him making $20 million to underachieve. Go ahead. So I was willing to give up like Acuna or Vientos and then a prospect along with one of those two. Jonah Tong, get lost. Get the hell out of here. If that's the case, go get me Stephen Kwan. Go get me Stephen Kwan, or go get me Jaron Duran. Absolutely get lost with that. Why? So you guys could trade. So the White Sox could trade Jonah Tong too in a few years. Speaking of Kwan, the Astros are a team to watch on Kwan. Apparently, all right. Well, according to Morosi, we'll see if that develops into anything there. But I don't know. I like that Kwan asking price was high too, and it's like some of these teams are being very unreasonable with their ask. Like I get the part that they have control, but especially in the White Sox case, it's like wouldn't you rather get something than give him $20 million next year to potentially underachieve? Very bizarre. But I'm very curious to see where or not where what the return is for Stewart. I really want to see the return on that because that's a move that, like I said, very underrated move for the Dodgers, and I'm very curious to see, uh, considering what the Mets have had to give up for their relievers, what the Dodgers are giving up there. Yeah, I don't get it. I think that it's a club option though, just to counter that point. But it's like the White Sox. Like Jerry, you're telling me Jerry's gonna give out 20 million to Luis Robert. He'd rather give that out than replenish the farm a little bit. Ridiculous. If I was Robert, like I said, I would just request that at this point because this is just stupid. Cubs are denying to move some of their prospects. One of theirs which makes sense. I need a trade to happen. I need news. I need something to talk about. I need the return at least for Stewart. Like, give me something here to talk about. Because I thought once Mason Miller got traded, I'm like, floodgates are opening, but I appeared to be very wrong on that front. Yankees Pirates discussing a Bednar trade according to Rosenthal, which makes sense, but
All right.
we'll see what that becomes.
They've had enough of watching Devin Williams trying to close out games.
Yeah. And Luke Weaver has just not been the same. I'll say now, if the Mets don't get a significant bat, all these trades, uh, for not, because we won't be seeing the World Series for sure. I mean, yeah, I'm not. I agree with you that they got to get a bat or two, but I'm willing to be patient for now, just because I've been wrong so far about what the Mets are going to do. I was very of the mindset that they're going to just kind of go low buying mode at this deadline. I've been very wrong so far with the reliever market, but now it's about doing it with the bats and a starting pitcher. But I'm with you that they got to do something, and I don't know what it's going to be now. I mean, if the asking price is truly that high for Robert, then I don't know where you pivot, because it's like Mullins, you could get him, but he doesn't really fit as well as Robert would have. I mean, I guess Gloriano would be the next option, or Quan, but Quan's asking price is pretty high too. And does Gloriano really move the needle enough? Like, could he? I don't know. I worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you get, let's just say hypothetically they were to get Romo Laureano, right? I mean, obviously, you're probably talking about a lower end package than comparing to Mullins and Robert. And again, we've heard the rumors that McNeil could be moved. I mean, listen, if they were to get Romo Laureano, let's say, move McNeil, and then end up getting Brandon Lau too, I think that would be. I mean, I'd still like that, but it still depends on whether McNeil gets moved, because if you let's just say they don't go for a center fielder, and let's just say they go end up trading out for Brendan Lau, then you're probably just end up sticking McNeil out in center field. And I don't think you really want to stick McNeil out there as a full time center fielder, because he's not a center fielder. I mean, he can play there, but do I trust him long term in center field? No, not really.
That's the problem. Yeah, it's like Laureano. It feels like he's more of a corner bat. And the other problem too is that, like, the whole point of getting Robert is that he crushes
Lefty.
left-handed pitching. Laureano's better against righties than lefties, so I don't know. I'm really not sure. But the stat line got a whole lot more tricky if the Robert asking price is truly that high. I mean, at that point, I'd rather take a look at potentially doing a swing of getting Lau and Yandy Diaz from the Rays in one
Yeah.
trade. Rather do that at that point, and then you just have Brandon Lau play second base. McNeil's going to have to stick out in center field, which would suck, but it kind of is what it is at that point. Or maybe you swing a trade to get Laureano too with on top of that. I don't know how feasible that is, but I'm just spitballing an idea out there. But something's going to have to give in that regard. I mean, they got to add something. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be harder to swing a package for both Brendan Lau and Yandy Diaz, just because if you're getting Yandy Diaz too, he's not playing first base. He's going to DH. Well, you have $20 million wrapped up in there in Stalling Marte, and you're probably going to have to move Stalling Marte if you're going to pick up a Yandy Diaz. And again, I know we've heard rumors of teams potentially being interested in Marte, but can the Mets pull off that deal? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Well, the only thing is, unless, and I don't know if they would be comfortable, but unless the Mets are comfortable putting Yandy at third base since he's played there before, which at least if you're going to have someone bad defensively at third base, the guy hits. But that's the only other way. I don't know. This is just Stearns has his work cut out for him because that Robert thing really throws a wrench into what I thought was like a layup of plans here. I didn't even realize that the Yankees were playing right now.
Yeah, they are.
I'm just gonna throw that game on right now. Might as well. Just because we're not getting news right now, apparently. And
Yeah,
as I talked about
yeah.
that, yeah, the Rays are not expected to move Yandy Diaz or Brandon Lau.
So there goes that.
It's definitely getting worrisome. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm starting to think though the two bats thing is definitely unobtainable at this point.
Yeah, I think
Which
I think they just end up getting the one and maybe a pitcher on top of that.
I at least want like a bench piece. Give me at least a bench piece. I don't know why teams are now like all of a sudden backing out though. Like why are the Rays, as they're getting beat by the freaking Yankees, all of a sudden not willing to move these guys? Yeah, Ben Rice just had a freaking home run. Ryan O'Hearn is expected to be traded today though, according to Morosi. I swear I've seen like the Harrison Bader return at least 50 times since the trade. Like we get it.
News return is light. The inside need their engagements.
I mean, at this point, if you're not going to get aggressive for a bat, you might as well get aggressive for a starting pitcher and then just fill around the margins with the lineup.
I don't know if you saw this from Fine's end, but it said Astros continue to monitor the starting pitching market. Dylan Cease and Sandy Alcantara. But sources say Houston is currently more focused at upgrading the back of the bullpen, with some of the top controllable relievers potentially in play for the Astros.
Yeah, I didn't see that until just now. I would like the Stewart return too. Like that'd be cool to get.
Which, I mean, by all means, if the Astros are not going to be prioritizing the starting pitching market, by all means, swing a deal for freaking Sandy or Cease at that point.
Oh my god! Did you see what Sean Heyman said? Apparently, I don't know where he said this, but
On
this is from a
Twitter?
Yankees account
Oh,
that
okay.
he said, according to John Heyman, the Yankees will only trade Spencer Jones for Paul Skeens. They are setting this kid up to get absolutely ridiculed by the Yankees fan base. This dude better be the second coming of Jesus Christ himself.
I hate to break it to Yankee fans and to the Yankee front office, but Spencer Jones is just not enough for Paul Skeens. So unless you have like 4, 5 other top prospects available with him, then yeah, you're not getting Paul Skeens.
That is absolutely ridiculous. Phil Maton expected to be the final trade piece for the Cardinals. Okay, cool. We'll see where Meatball Maton goes. O'Hearn could be a sick DH instead of Lau. Um, Honestly, the only problem with O'Hearn is actually wait. I want to fact check what I was before I make my statement that I was gonna make. Ryan O'Hearn. Um, I don't know why I thought he was a right-handed bat. He is a left-handed bat. I mean, that would be a pretty good ad if you could swing O'Hearn and Mullins or O'Hearn and Laureano. That would definitely move me. That would absolutely move me. Yeah, he crushes righties. I mean, that would be sick. Go get O'Hearn and Laureano. Hopefully there's some sort of pivot though in that way. That'd be a sick pivot. But I really don't know why I thought O'Hearn was a right-handed bat. I didn't know O'Hearn could play the corner bit too. He's played 18 games in right field and 2 games in left field this year, so there's that. The only problem with that deal, Brian, would be that you still would ideally like someone that mashes lefties. This team really needs that, but I don't know where you're going to get it at this point. But I mean, I still would not complain one bit if they landed a package of O'Hearn and Laureano. Like that'd be
Yeah,
fire.
yeah, I take that.
I wonder what you'd have to give up in that kind of deal. I mean, I'd imagine like Vientos or Acuna goes the other way, and then you figure out the prospects from there.
He's having a solid year too, especially on Baseball Savant. A lot of red. Walks a good amount, doesn't strike out a lot. Squares up. John Heyman.
I was about to
Mets
say,
are
yeah.
not close on Robert at the moment. Not out of the question. White Sox hold Robert and consider 20 million 2026 option as Feinstein said. Center fielder remains a priority. Cedric Mullins is a possibility.
Good spelling of White Sox there, John.
He's been hitting the bottle early. It's a long day today for him.
Mullins is a possibility. I'd rather just get Laureano and O'Hearn. I'd rather do that. Like, Mullins doesn't do enough for me. Like, sure, it's an upgrade, but over what they have, but it's not doing enough.
These numbers like that O'Hearn because sometimes his team struggles at the fastball. Batting average of 327 on the fastball, slugging of 531. I like those numbers.
You gotta do way more than just Mullins, though,
Yeah.
if that's the case. Mullins does not move the needle at all. I mean, this team already has so many left-handed bats. Like, if you're getting a left-handed bat, it's got to be like a clear-cut upgrade like O'Hearn. Now I'm stressing. I was in such a good mood, and now I'm stressing. Because it's like I actually felt confident going into today, where it's like I really feel good about the Mets landing a bat or two and then landing a starter. Now it's like I don't even know. Now it's like I'm getting worried about even landing a center fielder right now. Because to me, like I would rather, truth be told, I'd rather just stick with Jeff McNeil in center field than Mullins. I got to be honest with you. Like I get Mullins is a better glove, but I don't know what Mullins is really doing for you. Like what is he improving for this team outside of defense a bit?
Speed on the base pass, I guess. That's another thing, but yeah, the bat's not great.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brian. It doesn't move the needle at all. To me, it's not adding really anything outside of, like Matt said, the base running and then marginal improvement to the defense where it's like, okay, sure, like this team does need to get better defensively in center field. And he's better than Taylor. Like I get it, but you already have a guy that bats left-handed and plays center field in McNeil. So it's like, and I know like that they're in trouble if Taylor's starting in center field. But again, I'd rather just stick with McNeil in center field and acquire a bat, like acquire an O'Hearn, acquire a legitimate piece that's going to improve the offense. Like to me, I don't get the point in giving up assets for Mullins when you really need someone that's going to make more of a difference both offensively and defensively. Like at least with Robert, he excels against left-handed pitching. Mullins is just average across the board, which again, sure, upgrade over Taylor, but for a team that's struggling offensively, I mean, you just need more. Look at the numbers. Mullins definitely actually has better numbers against lefties than I thought, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's better than I thought. So I somewhat retract my statement in that regard, but to me, it just doesn't move the needle enough still. And Brian, I agree. That's why I think if they're going to get Mullins, you have to get a right-handed bat too. You got to find a right-handed bat.
God, I would. Not that he's a center fielder, but you could have stuck him at DH. If, like we were talking about before with the Angels, and if they were actually smart and sold, because freaking Taylor Ward's numbers against lefties are insane.
That I know that would have been
Batting 260, 329 OBP, 571 slugging, 901 OPS with a 142 WRC plus.
the thing that sucks about this. Like in a perfect world, they would have got you'd get a right-handed hitting center fielder and a left-handed hitting DH. Like in a perfect world, that's what I would have liked. Now I'm starting to think maybe should they have got Bader? I don't know. Like I don't know. It didn't move the needle enough, I know, but it's like I don't know. Now I'm just stressing, that's all. And I don't understand it either, Brian, what the White Sox gain from playing hardball with Robert. It's just so dumb. It's so freaking dumb.
And then even against righties, I mean, his numbers aren't like great, but 225 average, 302 OBP, 465 slugging, 767 OPS, not bad, and then 108 WRC plus. Taylor Ward would a nice add if the Angels were actually a smart organization. Yeah, Brian, same with me. I trust Stearns too, but unless the White Sox get their head out of their ass and they don't lower their demands, which I mean, their demands are freaking dumb anyway. Like they don't make any sense. Then yeah, then probably nothing's gonna happen there on that front. And then where Stearns pivots to at that point, I don't know. But I, I think surely Stearns has to. Because here's the thing. I don't really know who has power here negotiating because I mean if you're Stearns, you have to put some type of deadline on this negotiation because you have to get some sort of center field or you have to get some sort of bat. So you can't waste your time completely on this. Waste time, get to the end and be like, oh shit, now we're stuck without a bat. Like you have to say to the White Sox like, listen, like we're willing to negotiate with you, but unless you don't lower your demands, we're walking away, which is what Stern should do.
Yeah, it's like Stearns told him, "Oh yeah, we're not gonna move you Vientos." Oh well, could we get Jonah Tong? Like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And it's not like either like the White Sox have like teams lining up for Robert either because they just lost the Phillies to Bader. I don't necessarily know how much the Padres and Preller's interest is how high is it in Robert. So it's not like you have like plenty of teams lining up for him where you could demand a bidding war between teams. Like you have two, and still, if you're asking for that high of value in terms of prospects, the Padres nor the um
The
the
Mets.
Mets will be willing to make a trade for you with Robert.
The
Like,
Padres definitely won't. They'll just say,
no,
"Okay, fuck you. We'll go get Quan or Duran." Like,
yeah.
and I'm with you on this too. I don't understand how the asking price has gone from like Tidwell to Acuna to now we're at Tong. Like, how did we get there? I feel like this has to be the White Sox playing hardball because the Mets are being stubborn to give up someone else maybe in the farm, and this is their way of trying to get the Mets to change their mind or whatever. But it's so ridiculous. I mean, to me, that has to be smokescreen. Like, there's no way you could possibly tell me that they're seriously asking for Tong. Like, I know the White Sox are stupid, but they can't be that stupid to think that's rational.
Yeah, Ray. Yeah, we saw that too. Ray's not expected to move Yandy or Brendan Lau.
Hoping that's smokescreen too, but I don't know. I think both those guys still have club options, so it's probably not. I need some news though. I mean, damn, we could have just freaking waited till 3 o'clock at this rate. Like I said, I
Yeah,
really thought once the Mason Miller trade happened that we were gonna start to like get a flood of trades, but
I mean, we can go to like 2:30 on here, then get off, take a little break, half an hour break, and then restart at 3 with them.
yeah, that or like go until 2:45, something along those lines.
Yeah.
I just worry about something happening between 2:30 and 3 because it would be very poetic for that to happen. Like I bet the Mets will make a move as we're switching between streams. That's what happened last night for me.
But it worked out though, so
Yeah, it worked out, so I guess I can't complain if it does happen, but
let's see. Oh, he's got the numbers. Halsey 56 and Rogers 71. They'll be wearing.
so they're keeping their numbers.
Yeah. 56 last worn by Met legend Zach Pop.
I think we had Zach Pop on this freaking team.
The Zach Pop.
Pops.
Yeah, this bullpen this year's went through a ride of just different guys on in this pen. I mean, think about we started the year with lefty options as AJ Minter, Danny Young. Then it went to Gerson Batista. Then it went to Jose Castillo. Then it went to Dickie Lovelady. Then Brooks Raley came back, and now it's Gregory Soto and Brooks Raley.
The passing of the torches.
7 different lefties used this year out of the pen.
Did you say Waddell by the way, or no?
Oh yeah, Waddell too. Can't forget about my goat, Brandon Waddell. I'll never forget him.
Speaking of Brandons and goats, Brandon Lau at the plate right now. It's gonna hurt when he draws such a freaking great walk here.
Status alert: Yandy Diaz
Never
leaves
mind, he
the
had a
game.
single.
Yandy Diaz has left the game.
Oh, So he's gone
Mm,
then, right? He has to be.
I would assume, unless he got hurt, but it just is an underdog.
Yandy being pinch hit. So he's getting moved then.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, unless he's hurt, which I mean,
I didn't
underdog.
see anything on that
Yeah,
because Chandler Simpson left the game with an injury though. Oh, good pinch hit though here. Christopher Morel
well, it said
double.
right here from Mark Topkin, who covers the Rays. Said
Oh,
Morel on deck. Morel on deck to hit for Diaz. Would assume it's a result of being hit by pitch in the first inning, but it's trade deadline day, so we'll see.
if he stayed in after and then left now though, I don't know. Yeah, hug watch time.
Hug
That's what
watch.
we gotta watch. We gotta watch for the hugs.
Or ass grab time if you're Johan Duran.
John Heyman, shut up. Could John Heyman just shut up? We know the Yankees are interested in Bednar. You don't have to tweet it 5 times a day. Just break the news if it happens, you jerk off. Like, oh my god. I get you have a job to do. I get you need clicks, but holy crap. Just stop tweeting it every 5 minutes. We get it. Exactly, Brian. It's just like I don't give a fuck that they're interested in Bednar. I'm interested in $1 million. I don't give a fuck. Gosh, it's so annoying. Yandy's
Oh yeah, he's
undergoing
undergoing
X-rays.
X-rays. That's why you okay.
Damn it.
When you mean by getting X-rays, you mean he's going through the X-ray machine at LaGuardia Airport, right? Oh no, he wouldn't go to LaGuardia if he's with the Mets. He'd just fucking go to Queens.
God, the way Dominguez plays the outfield is brutal.
I, s- I still remember the thing from what was it, 2 trade deadlines ago in the NHL. Jake Gensel at LaGuardia Airport.
I have so much trauma from that day. From that week.
It's all right. Got Jack Ralswick instead. That's it. I'm tweeting Heyman and asking about Estevez.
Or just reply to him with what I did and just be like, breaking news, a contending team is interested in getting better. Yeah, it's confirmed now
Yeah,
that Yandy's out because of that.
prayers.
Fly high, Yandy.
As long as there's no damage to the finger, he's fine.
I mean, if his finger's broken, then yeah, that's when the career's over. After all, that's why the Rangers shouldn't have got Gensel. That broken finger. That stupid broken finger. Andy Martino. Mets Sox talk on Robert has cooled by last night. Obviously, still time to reignite, but thus far I could tell that hasn't happened to this point. Mullins is a maybe. I'm stressed. Now I'm stressed. Martino's just such a dick because he always has to throw cold water on everything. He's just such an asshole for that.
Um, I'm still calm. I still think Stearns is gonna figure something out. It's a bit annoying though that and again, this is not like it's Stearns' fault. It's like the White Sox are just being freaking. They're asking for something that's completely just not realistic at all. So it's like,
Yeah, I don't blame Stearns with the Robert thing. I'm only gonna blame him if he doesn't have a
yeah,
pivot. That's when I'll get
if there's no pivot, then yeah.
because you got to have a plan B for this one. What a dick! What a fucking dick you are, Martino.
Wouldn't be surprised if Heyman says, um, yeah, there's cold water on the Mets and White Sox.
Yeah, just like relaying his news from other insiders the way Vince does it. What bugs me the most about him.
He's just a blogger with credentials.
He uses bloggers as sources. And someone asked him about Brandon Lau, and
Yeah,
Martino said that one didn't ultimately seem to go anywhere. That hurts. That hits home. That hurts. That hurts my heart. Things could change in 4 hours, but very frustrating. So I'm
like
assuming the Mets though aren't making a move anytime soon, like that.
no, I'll probably have to
Unless
wait.
there's something very on the low right now at Stearns, which is possible. I mean, we didn't hear Helsley or Rogers stuff until it happened. I mean, Helsley we heard leading up to it, but we didn't hear that it was like that close at any point until it happened.
You know, Rod, this like, I mean, Halsey was a little bit easier to predict just because you knew that he was probably going to end up being traded, but there was no rumors about Gregory Soto or Tyler Rogers being moved, especially here. That those two came out of nowhere.
Yeah, maybe we will wrap this show up at 2:30 and take a half-hour break. It's gonna be so much better though when we have more people to fill the voids because my voice is shot right now.
See, but this is dumb. Just looking at the games, there's 3 games today. Just why have any fucking games at all today? It's dumb.
I don't know what's dumber, that or the fact that it's been like an hour since Stewart got traded and we still do not have the return.
Yeah, this is some NHL insider behavior.
Like, how do we not have the return?
This is like it's like when it took 5 hours to figure out Keandre Miller's return.
Oh my god, that was so annoying. Yankees
At
casually
least,
just like blowing a 7-0 lead right now, by the
yeah,
way.
Stroman doing his thing.
What a shame.
He is not Sir Marcus. There's only one Sir Marcus.
I'm sure
Carrasco.
Stroman will accuse me of things, even though I said that just now, even though I'm saying I'm hate watching strictly him, I'm sure that he'll accuse me of things.
Carrasco making his debut for the Braves today.
I'm sure he's going to throw a no-hitter against us.
Probably, but with this 5.91 ERA. Carlos Carrasco. F.
John Curtis.
The extra S stands for sucks. F. Grant. F.
Jonathan Aruz.
Danish cookies.
Charlie Olive's tweet.
For jolly say. Uh, Sleepy Stearns.
Some
I don't
Yankee
know.
fan tweet. Sorry, go ahead.
No, what'd you say?
I was gonna say some Yankee fan tweeted, "We're 100% gonna see Yanks are in on Bednar." Tweets until 6:01, and then here Cashman didn't want to meet the price point.
Probably. No, I was gonna say I kind of do like it though that it's quiet on the Mets end. Just I think Stearns works better when there's no rumors. With the eyes closed.
It's so fucking stupid, but it's so funny.
Did you did you see the thing in the Chauvinomics group chat?
Let me see.
The most recent one. In Yankee Stadium. It's a wild tweet.
That's
He is,
so
but
fucking
it is,
funny. That's a good tweet, though.
it is true though.
That's such a good tweet. I gotta tell you, after the stream, what someone said in one of the group chats that I'm in about that situation. Honestly, since it doesn't seem like anything's gonna happen, should we just take our break now?
Yeah, we can do that. Nothing's happening. And then
Inevitably, there will be.
well, actually, we do have a trade right now.
Oh yeah, I just saw now.
Cody Hewer to the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here talking about that right now. All right, we're gonna wrap the stream up here, everyone. Take a quick 40-minute break or so. At 3:00, we will be back with Mets Weekly. Unless there's like a big Mets trade that happens, then yeah, it will. This will probably happen by the time we end. But be on the lookout. Like I said, 3:00, we're gonna be live again on the channel with Mets Weekly and a bunch of other Mets creators. So be on the lookout for that. Refresh your page at 3:00 on the Mets Central channel, or turn on your notifications so you know that we are gonna go live then. We appreciate everyone that stuck out the 3 hours here though with us, and yeah, we'll be back in about 40 minutes or so.
See you guys.